All right. Welcome to another day of Bangers Only, where you guys get to look, apparently, at the top of my monitor right here. I will fix that. Anyway, as I promised, we'll be getting to Anyone's Legend versus NIP today. Have I heard anything about the LCS yet? Yeah, they're merging. It's like I've been saying for forever, guys. They're going to be merging in some way, shape, or form with Brazil and maybe Latin America. Like, LCS is in a viewership death spiral. The only logical move is to do that because they've already done it with Valorant Americas. Thank you, Banjo Nut and Uber Blacktorn, for your subscriptions. I appreciate it. You know, the difference between me and everybody else is that everybody else has to not say anything because they don't want their co-streaming rights revoked, or they're part of a team. Like, you guys should just really listen to me. Wild. Sounds so lame. No, I disagree. I think having more competition between Brazil and North America will be good. I disagree. I think it's a good move. Jeff P, thank you for your tier 1 sub. Oh, I'm just making sure you guys don't have to look at the bottom of my monitor anymore. All right, solved. I don't think they're gonna fully merge the regions. I think this is more like, you know, you basically merge the playoff bracket, like what they did with PCS. That's my guess. I don't think they're gonna like fully merge it. I don't know how many teams it'll be for Worlds. I think it's only going to be 3 still. But you know, I don't know. They may have it happen this playoffs, but I think it's probably for 2025.
Oh, it's so easy to play around is the thing.
Because Marksy already announced the playoffs format, so it's probably just 2025 stuff.
But you need AD mid laners to support them. The Corki comes in, that's AD as well. Crocker locks in one of those AP junglers. This is one of the biggest parts of the meta right now, and this is the question.
All right, so this is going to be new Corki here with all of his raft of changes and no more package and lethality build. We have Trist mid priority. I mean, this is great, especially if you want to take a farming AP jungler, because you basically get instant priority in the mid lane, right? You open up for an AP jungler because you have an AD mid.
Something I'd say is his comfort picks within that jungle. He might have to go towards that.
Suddenly the matchups don't look so good.
Yeah,
and will allow them to take an AD top as well here for NIP. Ashe still available. Ashe very high priority. But so is Varus.
Bottom lane wouldn't. Senna going to be taken off the board by AL. Obviously, Senna kind of a photic classic, but also you've got very, very strong laners in mid and top, so it would be very nice to have that quote-unquote weak side Senna available, although this Senna's not really part of the weak side. Senna usually just abandons
she
the
actually
weak
just
side.
leaves it.
She just goes and joins in with the fun on the top side of the map.
But they expect
and can do very well.
So taking Senna out and Kalista on the bot side.
If you do lock in something like that, Ziggs,
Ashe just banned as a support here, and I guess we're going to take Sivir for Photic. Sivirel into Varus. Seems very hard to play early into Varus Nautilus. I mean, this is pretty awkward. I mean, I guess this can be used as a pick composition, guys, right? You can all in using Destiny and Karthus ult, like you have double globals. and should be very good at 1-3-1 split pushing because you have Sivir wave clear, as well as Tristana and Twisted Fate in the side lanes. Interesting Malphite pick here. I mean, I guess you have you could itemize for armor with the 380 carries and then all in. Considering they have low mobility, we have to blow Silver Spell Shield.
I'm just gonna play full armor. There's no
I have to put this Malphite.
the stage. There we go. Okay,
I just saw that Alan we used to switch. Okay, I'm no longer gonna point out.
I'm wondering if Immortals is going to switch to MIBR, though, branding, because they own MIBR. Who knows? MIBR is very popular in Brazil.
We used to see that in earlier seasons of play, where sometimes you'd have role swaps from the team. I remember Soaz playing mid lane and Peke playing top lane, and them flexing Ziggs around in season 4 or something. It's been a while since we've had that in earnest, though.
Yeah, a little old while. That said, the lane swap's kind of a flavour of that. As Joel going to take a spear. And AL just going to start in the enemy jungle. Procs a blast code, so Joel's sent away. Aki takes a chunk.
Right.
This is a nice start for AL.
It is, because the Nidalee needs to get ahead of the Karthus. You have very strong level 1. Fotic, Draw, Aki all trying to contest this, but they don't have the strong level 1 compared to Nautilus and compared to Nidalee. So that's going to be the majority of a quadrant being taken away from Aki already. We need to see if he can get over to the other side of the map. Because you have winning top and winning mid lane, Aki should be able to get access to Kroko's red side jungle. So it looks like it's going to be the vertical jungling rather than any kind of lane swap shenanigans.
Nice timing there for Aloe, waits for the passive shield to come up as Rookie hits level 2, immediately trades, but Shanks hit level 2 as well, and he's going to flash forward. Rookie might just go down.
Okay.
Nice timing there.
So he thinks he can hit level 2 and then engage in the all-in, but this last minion actually just dies. Unfortunate timing. What dies that he hits level 2 here? This minion? Surprised he's in range for that. Yeah, it's that minion. I guess he's barely in range for the XP, which allows him to have both Gatling gun and Frost bomb.
Might just go down. Shanks solo kills the best mid laner in the LPL.
We said this was a benchmark. We said that Shanks could be one of those elite mid laners, but how can you tell given the level of AL from last split? That's how you can tell right now, though. Solo kills Rookie.
Yeah, Shanks has been really good this year, guys, if you haven't been watching. Like, Shanks has been one of the bright spots.
Nicely done by Shanks. Great punish, Kroko. Fotic actually takes the big one. It's not that much gold anymore. They did nerf how much gold that does quite a while ago, but still.
And it's still level 3 for Kroko. Does have that hook. Fotic not going to get hit by that spear, so any dive potential is completely off after that point. But we need to really see what's going to happen with these jungle pathings now, because Aki does get himself into the enemy jungle. He's been slowed down a little bit, and Rookie hits level 2. We've got to see what happens with Shanks here. How does he hit level 2? Does he just walk back in range just for that last minion to die? I think he does. Rookie maybe just misjudging the amount of health left on his own minions, so Shanks could get that level up.
I think maybe
That's crazy that he got that level up.
Aki was obviously on enemy chickens, but the thing is, this is Tristana versus Corki. The deaths come fast in that kind of matchup. Shanji gets a stun. Aki just dropping those Skittles behind the turret as well. Oh, Allah, this is pay all top laners across the world watching kind of matchup. Shanji gets a stun.
It's very annoying because the gold card allows you to just hit the Skittle for free.
Oh, Allah, this is pay all top laners across the world watching this and feeling Allah's pain.
Shanji?
There's so little he can do.
What's he doing?
Shanji, are they going to complete the dive? There we go. Stun comes in. Oh, 1 HP.
Oh, it's
Moves back up.
Oh, he doesn't get the. It doesn't reset the actual tower aggro there.
Goes pop by Shanji. Are they going to complete the dive? There we go.
Because he takes the one tower shot. And he just walks back in, but doesn't re-aggro turret.
It takes.
Goes pop by Shanji. Are they going to complete the dive? There we go. Stun comes in. Oh, 1 HP. Moves back up. And he doesn't tank the tower.
It takes 3 gold cards. Where was he hiding them up his sleeves, man? He gets all of them all the same. Just puts down first dive. Doesn't quite kill him. Oh, we'll go again. Oh, why not a second? Why not a third dive? takes a while, but this is the problem we said about the Malphite. You are going to be left on your own to dry in this top lane matchup. First kill goes over to Shanji. Need to see that stabilized from anyone's legend, because Malphite, you don't want to see them just fall behind this game too far.
Typically, when a player's shown 2 yellow cards, they're off the pitch. But Ala, refusing the rules, takes 3 before he's gone.
It's a good joke. That's a good joke. I like that one.
More invades. We talked about Karthus versus Nidalee so far. Croco off to a pretty good lead.
Yeah, Croco needs to be off to that lead, though. One of the things that we have seen is that Nidalee has risen in priority because it's good. Yes, versus the early skirmishing junglers in some ways, because you can still fight them well, but very good versus the farming AP junglers, because if a single gold card, not a gold card, or a single spear hits them in the enemy jungler, they effectively just die.
Hits them in the enemy jungler, just hits you right in the jungler.
You can't just snooze your way into a kind of a farm lead on something like a Karthus or a Lilia or what have you. The Nidalee's very good at shutting down the current meta AP junglers.
We'll see how Croco does, but we're talking about Aki before the game, talking about these AP junglers and how he'll perform in this meta. I'm excited to see the rest of this game, to see what he can do. Obviously, great start for him going up towards that top side and punishing this very weak side pick of the Malphite up against Shanji's Twisted Fate. You see almost a 20 CS lead up top already. Ala should hopefully be able to clean up some of these minions, but getting to those ranged minions can be difficult in this kind of matchup.
I'm kind of worried what's going to happen with turret plates as well, because Shanji should be able to hit 1 or 2 of them. Shanji's using the stacked stack there, stacking up the empowered autos and getting as much as you can there.
Yeah, he already has the
plus,
Swifties there, deal with the Malphite slows.
Walk out of the Comet when it hits on that the Doran's shield to try and get that poke instead.
And it can be valuable. Malphite, but you do need a couple of levels in the queue before it really starts to hit. Croco moving up top.
Trying to abuse the Malphite level 6, but that's a really good back off there by Shanji.
Malphite, but you do need a couple of levels in the queue before it really starts.
He sees him on the ward. Still has flash as well. Oh, he doesn't have flash, so it's hard if he just backs off like that, especially considering he has Swifties.
Abandoned ship on that one. Azaki, that's 2 groups taken, but everybody else converging on the play. AL wants to contest.
Shanji
comes through. Croco gets that one. For the spear, just gonna abandon ship.
Shanji, though, with a great destiny here. It's actually so risky when you don't have eyes to stop the TF. Flashes immediately onto Corki.
Rookie, much happier with this one. Not a 1v1, but he still gets revenge.
No flash from that level 1 as you...
Yeah, 2 grubs for that as well. So they turn around the gank, and he's going to catch the entire wave. Very good sequence, actually, from NIP. Do I think TF top needs to be addressed? Of course it does. It's ridiculous.
Dodges the Q. Keeps himself under tower and will survive. Spell Shield should be coming up shortly too. At which point, Photic is pretty unkillable for the lethality virus.
Yeah, and so does...
So,
yeah, for sure.
It's possible it was on cooldown. Maybe I set him up to fail there, but Photic gonna head back to base, hit that level 6. I mean, at level 6, this is where your Ricochet starts to get really good. Your ultimate means that Ricochet increases your attack speed once you use it, so can clear those waves even more efficiently. But also, it's good for setting up CS. You have that auto reset and that increased attack speed. So good for CS and good attack. Yeah.
And also at this point, too, when you get levels in your queue, you can actually trade back in the short trades quite well against someone like the Varus if you're interested in, as the game goes longer as well. As that can be very, very important to maybe allow Photic the ability to just get himself in a safe spot. Shanji might not be in such a safe spot. Remember, he doesn't have flash.
Oh, Croco.
Overall, can be very, very important to maybe allow Photic the ability to just get...
Okay, let's look at this gank one more time.
Remember, he doesn't have flash.
Really trying to shut this down. So now that he doesn't have flash, though, they actually see an angle for a dive here. Oh, he really just sees this coming the whole way, though. Oh, he flashes for it. I feel like you could have tried to sidestep that a little bit more. You probably can't get out of that, but...
Not enough. Oh, Croco is going to take another shot, and he didn't reset off for Prime.
So he's fine.
Oh, and he's alive! It's an emotional roller coaster.
Oh, I don't know if it's a tragedy in 3 parts. I don't know really who's the hero of this story, but Croco makes it out alive. We call that Shanks using the flash earlier for the 1v1, but then dying in the bigger fights. Shanji does exactly the same thing.
Thing is, it's just a level 1 card, this ult, and he doesn't have a completed item yet, so it's not actually going to do very much damage, right?
to be exploited. Very nearly turned back though. Aki, if you just had a little bit more damage.
He also had the heal and had a potion.
Though it's not on him, he had the right runes for that situation.
Let's take another look. I can't believe Shanji survived this initial play, honestly.
Yeah, same here, because he ends up getting up. He top decks a gold card. Just quickly locks that one in. That's what makes it much quicker. If that had been a blue card or a red card, wouldn't have come through so close. Croco gets the level up! It's the level up!
Oh my god, are you serious? Oh, it is the level up. He clears the minion wave. That's what causes him to live. It's actually the level up, guys.
It's the level up which gets him to survive. I didn't even catch that in the heat of the play. I was watching his heal. I was watching...
Dude, the level ups have been crazy this game.
Level up MVP.
I mean, honestly, Croco, he played that pretty damn well. The fact that the top deck gold card extends the play is scary, but the primal surge at the last possible second to heal away from the turret shot. And then, like, you could see them really rushing to clear the wave. They must have realized that he was close to a level up. That is some really heads-up play from Croco.
Are you a TCG player at all, Joe? Have we talked about this before?
This is a fun game. I like this one so much better than the LEC games we were watching yesterday.
Could you imagine if you... Could you imagine if you had like the top deck kind of like opening hand for the one-turn kill like you have with the artifact decks in MCG? That would be absolutely hilarious.
Rookie trying to escape, and looks like they may have activated Shanji's trap card here.
Yeah.
Looks like he won't actually contest, so I've just completely wasted that line, haven't I? Nightmare.
If you say it again louder later, maybe people will forget.
Yeah, everyone will forget,
to say that because we've got a fight coming through. Draw quartz.
Comes through. Oh my god, he's gone, and then it's a double knock up on top. Ala unstoppable and forceful, if you will. 5-2 now. Now we 3 groups, Raya.
And you might have some paper cards in the top lane, but they're not there at the fight, and that means they can't counter the rock in the fight. Ala, this guy coming into anyone's legend made me really excited about this team. 2-mana ult sets up AL for a really good phase of play. They get themselves some important kills. They get themselves an evening in the grubs as well. And of course, Ala gets himself some gold on the board. Fantastic moment to get Malphite into the game. It starts with a bit of a lazy approach from NIP though. Puts down the board.
I mean, why are we contesting this when we don't have Karthus ult up? Right, we just face check a brush and then get hit by Varus ult. We don't spell shield that, really?
Completely obliterated. Approach from NIP though. Puts down the board and then they're engaged.
I mean, he doesn't have a lot of time to react because it comes over the wall, but they don't have any vision. They have no control in this situation.
Fantastic moment to get Malphite into the game. It starts with a bit of a lazy approach.
I mean, that's a blind ult, I think.
NIP though puts down the board and then they're engaged.
Hope actually just blind ults Photic.
Thank Exodia for that one, I suppose. And this is a great follow-up from Ala.
Right? He didn't see that.
So I've just completely wasted.
I mean, he knows where he is from the minions, but he predicts this. He predicts this ultimate, guys. He just pure predicts this. Not has vision, maybe not does have vision. Maybe. He's like, it's pretty... I don't know, guys. It's really close. But when he starts firing this, there's the start of the animation. I'm not sure he has vision of Photic, guys. But regardless, he uses the terrain to make it so he can't spell shield it. That is like a really bad engage, though. Like, why are we even trying to fight that? Like, they're... I know we really want to get some grubs. But we don't have Karthus ults. We don't have mid-control. We don't have vision. And they have a Malphite with ult up that we're walking into. So awkward. We also just don't have Twisted Fate.
Anyone's legend made me really... Of course, Ala just completely obliterated. Thank Exodia for that one, I suppose.
Just gets the double off of the Varus ult too, double knockup.
You know, this is one of the downsides of Ralph. When you get engaged on, if the CC chain is long enough, you just can't use your CC in response. You just...
I mean, I really liked Ale when he was on LNG, so... And Shanks has been good.
Honestly,
The And like Krocko, on Live Sandbox, Krocko was funny. He was one of my favorite in terms of entertainment because he would sometimes just randomly completely int games and do crazy plays.
Losing the early 1v1 in a very unexpected way, because this guy's been playing through lane in a dominant way, which we don't see that much in the LPL right now. If you think of the way that a lot of our best mid laners play, it's not through crushing lane leads which snowball the game out of control that off.
Up and coming in the LPL for quite a while now. He was the franchise player in WE. Ala's going to face check though, and he's going to be a disenfranchised player after this one. Shanji trying to get the gold card, but honestly, yeah, I
think that potentially both could be in danger here too. Hook gets spell shield, but the ult after.
It's good spell shield, but the flash means that he gets out to save.
So alright, get this flash, and then we're gonna split push for NIP. This should be their bread and butter.
So tier 1 going to be taken by NIP in the top side. Hope trying to answer, but that's a lethality Varus. He does not exactly.
Sources put into Shanji. That's kind of important. You need that Twisted Fate to be ahead of the Mal. He has that one item with that Frozen Heart. He's going to be useful now. We've already seen him be that engage bot.
Like, I'm not sure I've ever seen a game where Frozen Heart gets more value than this. There are literally 3 AD carries on NIP's side. Ala's slowing the attacks of all of them. Also, I don't know if this works. Does the auto slow proc off of Ricochet? Because I'm pretty sure, like, Ricochet could crit and everything. I don't actually know.
I thought that Frozen Heart was... I thought it was the radius around it which procs it, so I thought you have to be within a certain range of enemy champions rather than hitting it, because then you have a couple of the on-hit items for tanks, but I think Frozen Heart, I mean, it's obviously very easy for me.
Say that he's trying to get into Frozen Heart range. It wasn't about the knockup. It was about activating his Frozen Heart.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yes, that's fantastic. Truly, you see the mind of an LPL player as we see the fog of war at the same time, and NIP swiftly removed that. I love that so much. That's great. A new excuse, babe, wake up, new excuse just drops.
We'll see how it goes. Composition's a little bit on how they're going to function later on, because I feel like it's been quite an action-packed early game. It's all got a little bit silly, but ultimately 380 carries, you're going to scale quite
damage. The front line's going to be down. Lanes, they're pushing in mid lane with the Varus as well, and that's going to allow Malphite entrance into fights which maybe you wouldn't if you were further behind. And that means that Karthus, without Flash, is going to be absolutely terrified for these fights. I think that Rookie needs to be scared because he's not particularly strong either. Yes, he can buffer out of the engage, but just the damage coming through from everything can be really potent. I think that NIP need to be very careful about Shanks getting control of one side of the map and allowing Ala free entrance into big fights. So they need to make sure they're not blindly walking up into a Malphite who can engage onto them.
Oh, Rookie's looking for the 1v1. He wants revenge for the lane.
Side of the map and allowing Ala free entrance into big fights. So they need to make sure they're not blindly...
Alright, so they're coordinating a play up here on the push with the Karthus ultimate. Because also it's going to relieve pressure, hopefully, from mid lane. So they're trying to just all in. That's why he flashes immediately. Knocks him away. They're going to get the kill, probably. He got interrupted by what? Kyle's ult? Nautilus ult? Oh, Hope's ult. I think it was Chains of Corruption. No? Oh, it was Ala? It was either Malphite or Varus ult. Any scheduled shows before LCS starts? Yeah, we're doing Power Spike tonight, Summoning Insight tomorrow night.
But here comes Shanji to try and ruin the play. TP up to the top side, but it's matched by Shanji's Destiny. Krocko being taken down by Troll. In the meantime, but Shanji's gone too deep, and he's just taken down.
I mean, ninjas really are in pajamas in this one because they're getting put to sleep. They are being put into bed by anyone's legend. What the heck happened in this phase of play? I think Kyle ended up flashing forward to cancel out Aki's ult, and that's exactly what happened. That hitbox is disgusting. Clips around the corner, even though Aki had hidden there to try and get his ult off. That is...
Here's that shot. While his hitbox may be obscene...
I'm sure we'll get a replay. Hold up.
He has been
going to be slowed.
No, it's not. Well, I guess we'll never know how it got interrupted. Rip. That was just showed in the picture-in-picture. I'm blind. Oh, is it not Hook?
Legend. What the heck happened in this phase of play? I think Kyle ended up flashing forward.
Which stream is Power Spike on? Last Free Nation on YouTube, Inside on Esports on Twitch, because Twitch refuses to let me change our name. Wow, that's like a edge of the hitbox hit. Wow, nice job by Kyle. Really good interrupt.
Disgusting clips around the corner. Even though Aki had hidden there to try and get his ult off.
That's right. Good job, Silent Milk. You called it.
And its ramifications.
But to be fair, guys at home couldn't hit that hook, so fair play to Kale.
Yeah.
I'll give him credit for that one.
Yeah, just to revisit this, champions are bigger in terms of their hitbox than they look.
Rome and Caprica, two best shows ever. I mean, I love Rome. I haven't seen Caprica. I don't even know what that is.
What you expect, and particularly there are some cases too where because a champion's hitbox is larger than a minion, you can look to be stood just behind a minion but still get hit. You can do what's called a hitbox snipe.
My ability to stare at tiny ass icons is unmatched. How can I monetize this? You're getting paid in props. I mean, yeah, I see that kind of stuff too, but good job.
I'm sure you all know about this one already. Aki he has received a grim
Battlestar Galactica prequel. Oh, I saw the remake of the battle. I think they're remaking Battlestar again, even though I know I'm a boomer and they remade it a long time ago, but like it feels like they just remade it.
Sounds like a name of one of his abilities.
I mean, that's the nice part is this pick comp is actually, pretty effective. They have a lot of single target CC to avoid the actual team fight situations that may be detrimental for them.
The 1.6k individual gold lead does not matter at all because Allah can just go onto any flash this time.
Leona's support's pretty good right now. I mean, I think Mickey played Leona super well at MSI.
They don't have flash. Neither of them get to feel kind of good about that. And, coming out of draft, I thought that NIP had some options to really shut down this top lane. I really think that Shanji maybe messed up by using his flash alongside his ult around that Grubs fight, and I think that started off the snowball. I think if you go back and review, using that flash to get that one kill onto Shanks set him up to lose a lot of the pressure he could have had against Ala, which allowed Ala back into the game with that topside gank. Manuel's Legend, credit to them for finding those opportunities to get it their new top laner. This top laner, we're also excited to see slot into this roster on the board.
And I love watching Croco continue to punish Aki across this one. And once again, let's revisit expectations here. This is NIP, this is a top 4 team in the LPL. And AL, a team that just picked up Ala, who we all know is an incredible top laner. But showing that he is integrated at this point, showing that AL are going to be a contender in this split. They're going to be a team that you said that there's a real chance that they can contend for top 4. Well, they're up against literally the 4th place team in LPL last split, and they're looking pretty good right now.
In game 1, we have to see if Fearless takes its toll later on into this series as well. Can they pull this off with different champions? Can they do what they're doing with Croco and the right now? Very unique champion in the way that it functions. Same with the Malphite. It's quite unique in the way that it works too in regards to that team fight backline access. These are a lot of good.
I like how I tweet about Brazil merging with LCS, and then all the Brazilians attack me as if I have anything to do with these decisions or LCS. I do support them, however. I do support the decision. But I just tweet information, and like Brazilian people just start tweeting at me as if like I did it. They're so stupid.
Can't just leave it at 1.
Yeah, you certainly can't. You're talking about Malphite being on the tier list. He's definitely not S tier, but Malf is high. Hope is going to be pulled in as I'm
watching the two pick comps go at it is pretty fun because regardless of what you might think, like these are pick compositions. Like they can use double globals here. They can split push or use Sivir ult to create picks like they do here. This is the back and forth picks. This is a fun game to watch.
Yeah, that's a really good play from NIP. Allah doesn't get a big ult onto the backline in the way that he needed to. Shanji dies, yes, but Aki and Shanji both.
There's just not 5v5 fights in this game. It's just skirmishes and picks forever.
Flash is still available, which we said were very, very important, and that maybe relieves some of the pressure from NIP. Turns out that Malf was not in that fight.
He certainly wasn't. Nice.
I appreciate the effort for what it's worth. I appreciate that you went for it.
That was a good joke. The mouth was not aight.
Terrible, but I'm willing to force terrible jokes. The problem was the timing.
That was funny.
Kind of just missed the start of the fight. Juol, though, trying to start it off alongside Shanji. Does get a double knockup.
Yeah, Shanji gets the gold, and then Allah gets the fool's gold. He gets the.
Because I kind of just missed the start of the fight. Juol, though, trying to start it off alongside Shanji. Does get a double knockup.
Yeah, you know, Shanji gets the gold, and then Ala gets the Fool's Gold. He gets the Pyro, because he doesn't really get much after this point. He goes on to the support for the 1-for-1.
Well, we're just doing Baron?
Baron, but remember, there are a lot of flashes here for NIP if they get the fight out.
I guess they know that Destiny's down.
So, AL
All right, then.
themselves the Baron. That doesn't seem fair to me, but you know, that's how tempo works.
Yeah, I mean, NIP, I thought that last fight should have been able to buy them a reprieve in terms of pressure, a reprieve in regards to the lanes that they had, but they must have just slipped that somehow.
Are the Brazilian Latin American teams going to have to move to LA? No, I don't think so. I think they will just do I think they will do mostly regional competition and then like do PCS style where the playoff bracket just becomes the inter-regional competition. I don't think they're going to have to, you know, do what they did in Valorant and force the teams to move to LA. I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, if I were them, if I was king, I would force the NA teams to move to Brazil. That's what I would do. Save the teams a bunch of money.
Theoretically, they scale well.
I would just move everything to Brazil.
Team fight scenario where this Malphite is literally killable at all for the side of it.
There's no point to having it in Los Angeles. It's just expensive for no reason.
It's so difficult to get away with that one.
Or I would move everybody to Texas.
Control can be wrestled because the Rel, you know, if you can find yourself a little pocket of vision and set up for a big engage, there's solid follow-up on that fact. Yeah. It's just whether or not you can find that moment.
Just move everybody to Dallas.
Talking about the Rel and then follow-up, I'm going to pose it like this. I think that Rel should be engaging to stop the follow-up of AL, largely. It's one of the LPL specialties, which is the full contact team fighting. Your teammates getting engaged on, well, you engage back and stop them from completing it. If Joao manages to get onto Hope, Shanks, Croco, even Kyle or whatever, as Malphite goes in or someone else, maybe you can break open the combo long enough for the carries to get themselves into that pocket, stood behind the Rel and being kept safe by that CC. That's going to be hard to do so. We've seen that AL are very confident at just hooking in that Rel and killing them straight up.
Full contact League of Legends. So we're saying LPL is rugby? Is that the direction we're going with this one?
Well, that's my preferred sports. You know what? I'll take it.
And whichever league pauses the most, that's American football. Stoppage of play. They love it. They love an advert. They just love an advert, don't they? AL setting up here with Baron. Soul point spawning in 2 seconds.
Hello?
British people not understanding that American football is a turn-based game will never not be amusing. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you don't like the fact that American football is turn-based. That's just what it is. That's what makes it awesome. You just hate turn-based games. Will Power Spike be delayed for the LCS changes? No. We can talk about them regardless. Besides, we got Summoning Insight tomorrow. We can't just delay our shows, guys. There's always some reason to delay it. Always some kind of news. We'll get to it all, don't worry.
He has flash, by the way. He has flash here. You are a Karthus, and this is one of the worries we had about Aki. Coming through into the split. Aloe spotted going into... Okay, so that he tried to get out of vision. Maybe just misjudged the vision. He has flash here. You are a Karthus, and this is one of the worries we had about Aki. Coming through into the split.
Yeah, he gets spell shielded.
So he tried to get out of vision.
No, he commits the flash right there.
But yeah, one of the worries I had about Aki was how he was going to transition over to carry AP-oriented junglers. And
is Power Spike right after Bangers Only? No, it's after LPL tonight, so it'll be a while.
Maybe that one is not his fault. I think that the hitbox of Nautilus is a truly special thing. But that team fight there is really quite something. And Rookie's been hiding this pressure for a while. He's shot out by Shanks.
He's got a radar somewhere hidden on that seal, manatee, whatever the hell Earth is. Joao going to be hooked in, and that's enough to find a pick. And one pick.
It's actually a really fun game to watch.
Not quite in range for the... Oh my God!
I might be hanging in here surprisingly well despite giving up that Baron. Oh my God.
Croco the sniper throwing the javelins. Call him Hercules at this point. Forced away, and that'll be a top tier 2.
I mean, is this Croco or is this like Season 3 Faker or something? The poke Nidalee mid makes itself a return.
He did try to R-flash on Malphite. Yes, he did. I mean, it also didn't work because he got spell shielded.
to try and finish things off. Shield across the team. Shanchi looking for more as Droll gets the engage onto Kale. He's fairly squishy, and this is where the AD carry.
But he may have just been trying to get in, like, he may have just realized that the knockup wasn't going to work and the only play he could get was in range for the slow. But will Power Spike be affected by D-Gun going to LCK? No. We're just going to do it on Tuesdays when he doesn't have broadcast. Ah. Don't get the inhib, though.
Just about survives, but buddy, I think there was some foul play involved in that. The yellow card was shown the sin bit. We can see that the hook misses onto Shanji. That's a big moment. He gets to walk back with the gold card. Yes, even with the QSS, the good damage comes down onto Shanks. This is what we're talking about with the Rel. If you can actually pin the first target and stop the follow-up, Draw has big value. Yes, he dies, but his job's done. This is where things get difficult. Croco.
Have I ever played Disco Elysium? I have. It's great.
This is the gold card of the century.
Good.
Just press Shanji, buddy.
Just press C, you know?
Yeah, that's... Yeah. What do you say?
It's a toughie. It's a toughie. There have been some awkward moments in this one. So, two return kills from Aki. That is, I mean, one thing. There is a Karthus in this game. There are 380 carries in this game. Ultimately, NIP, yes, they are very far behind. Yes, it does feel pretty much won for AL. But if AL do slip up a couple of times, like with the ricochets coming across the team, the bombs from Rookie, and then a laser on top, it does feel like these fights, if they're not played well by AL, can go a little bit awkward.
That being said, what's going to really help them is that there is not a single flash on NIP, and Ala has his. And you've even got the Hex Flash on Kyle. So AL, they should have the pick of the litter when it comes through to finding their engages. NIP, they don't even want to this. They know they don't have the flashes. They just have to sit and farm. They have to scale. Rookie's pushing out a side lane. They need those summoners. In this game, flash economy is maybe the most important thing we can talk about.
I think maybe me trying to set up NIP potentially winning a fight is just
Dude, the Blackfire Torch edition for this patch plus the Leandries is just so crazy on Karthus. I mean, we've seen it be so disgusting on Hui too. I mean, my God.
Rookie has been trying to find angles in these brushes. He doesn't know, but can they kill him? He's damn tanky. It's taking a little while and just dashes away, flashes for the laser.
Yeah, he's dead.
Leandries?
Oh, 800 heal? Wow. Oh, he's Rabadon's. Oh, Croco's super fed. Never mind.
Croco has a death cap and he's become Soraka. Heals his top laner.
Dear God.
The ult just to make sure that they're safe on the retreat, but Croco, he's an assassin, he's an enchanter. He can do it all.
How that component item isn't unique is beyond me. Dude, I don't understand either. Like, it feels like you shouldn't be able to buy both Blackfire and Leandries or the component items, right? I think that's got to change. This is stupid. It's also just boring to get hit by like one Skittle and take 1 gazillion damage.
The potential we've been talking about. You know, last split, I feel like we saw whispers of this. Ala joining the squad feels like the ticket that AL needed to really become something special. We already knew Shanks and Hope had a lot of potential to them. We've seen Kale having some really good games last split. We've seen Croco having some good games last split too. And it feels like this team is coming alive, and they are on the cusp of taking game 1 against NIP.
What a result that would be for them. They need to see that series out, of course, but it's been a good showing for them so far. They've largely been in control of this game. They've had one slip up around that base, which got a little bit dicey for them, but they're pushing in right now. You can see the siege, you can see the threat of the engage. Flash is not quite up for NIP as well. The timing window for them to find an engage without those summoners.
Warmog's time, baby. I mean, it is definitely Warmog's time in general. With all of the changes to like Bork and Kraken Slayer and Cut Down, and the changes to armor items having lower HP in general, like it's definitely. Oh my God. Lethality Corki. With Infernal. You got collected.
Without those around that base, which got
Croco having some good games last split too, and it feels like this team is coming alive.
Man, if they get that kill with the Karthus there, I wonder how much this game changes.
Game is just
an assassin. He's a death cap, and he's
Like, it's actually crazy because they're able to apply pressure here as a result of saving the Malphite. And he's able to go back and he has TP to get into a fight.
So many extremely. I feel like we saw Wisp.
Make sure that they're safe.
Start just dashes all through this game. Rookie has been trying. Ridiculous. I feel like
They gave us magic resist Sunfire. We had to pay a double burn being back.
And they are on the
largely been in control of this game. They've had one slip up around that base. Up again, the flash economy is just still available for them. You ready for the mouth of war?
Have any way to? Oh,
no flash.
They've got a way to find their way.
It's all actually a wild first game.
Another spear with a rocket on top. I mean, NIP. They're just. This isn't a
matchup, but he doesn't really want to deal with the lane dominance and the snowballing potential of something like that. Long. We've talked a lot about the mid lane champions. Ashe is still strong. I don't know whether Ashe is first pickable. This is the easy.
You want alongside it, or something that you don't want NIP to have, because you don't need to prioritize this in the same way in Fearless.
That's actually a very good point. And again, so while these teams are adapting to Fearless, so are we actually on the casting desk. No, we saw a lot of it within LDL, and you know, like we spent some time.
Anyone Legends team is actually as good as they look right now. We finally have a new Rocks Tigers. Well, that's an interesting take.
Didn't have to look in that Tristana because NIP couldn't take it away anyway. It does mean that Rookie gets to see that mid lane matchup, and as we said, it's the expected counter pick of, well, pseudo counter pick of the Taliyah going into Tristana. It feels like Tristana still gets that push and can deal with that lane completely fine. And then the center locked alongside as well. As you were saying in game one's draft, this is a classic for Photic.
So Photic gets his comfort in that of the center. He's one of the best centers in the world, I would argue. Even though he's not been on a team that's like really at that upper echelon. Well, I guess they're top 4, right? It's not a bad team, but not been at internationals with the center recently, but
okay.
Still informed with that one. Hope gonna go for the Ziggs.
Ale. All right, so we are going to see the Ziggs here from Hope. Interesting. So, I mean, it could be Shanks in the mid lane as well, but I assume that this is going to be mid and then AD. And we're just going to create some pushing. Like, this is a maximum push composition from Ale with Ziggs, Tristana, like crazy tower pressure. Also, the Leona's a pretty big tail because Ziggs Leona's a classic combo in the bot side.
The big changes that came between MSI and now is that a lot of tenacity is also gone from the likes of Runes.
I mean, Croco didn't really do much last game. He wasn't like the biggest factor in that game.
That you can throw at you. The Ornn can press W, can build Merc Treads, but even then, Ornn can have a lot of issues against. They're
the ones banning. I'm surprised we saw. It's the first time I've seen Skarner's banned on blue side. So we're back to Ornn, Senna. We're going to take away the Camille. No Maokai. No Jinzhao. So we're going for resets here with Viego. Yep. Lilia's been very strong. All right, Brand hasn't been super meta right now, but still providing a lot of that AP, and it looks like we are just setting up for a potential Twisted Fate pick.
I like the Brand pick here for Croco. A confident pick, absolutely carrying on the mid lane in game number 1.
We're going to blind a Renekton. Interesting. I'm surprised we're blinding the Renekton, but I guess they really want aggressive lanes, and also the setup so you can stun into Brand stun is probably pretty good in the top side. Huge amount of split pushing threat, though. Huge amount of turret and siege threat. Thank you. I got delightful fast food. Korean fast food again.
I could have brought you like that squid ink bulgogi.
The squid ink bulgogi burger?
Yeah.
What'd you get me?
I got you a double X.
A double X2.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you. Loteria, the Lotte fast food place in Korea.
Three champions on their roster are pretty good at disengaging from these big plays.
Not too bad at starting a fight either with the Ornn. I mean, Ornn is like a cheat code for starting fights, honestly.
Yes.
The Call of the Forge got such a potent ability, but the Taliyah Weaver's Wall can expect a lot from Rookie in terms of finding that right position, finding the flip backs off the back of initial CC.
Do you think the players at NIP
have a better game? Honestly, the fact that Rookie went
know what NIP means? No.
I'm still over the moon on behalf of Shanks here.
I mean, I wish I didn't know what NIP meant. Ninja's Pajamas, stupidest esports name of all time.
See how it goes this time around.
With NIP as well.
It's like a meme name from the 2000s that just persisted for some reason because we're too stupid to rebrand in this industry.
Has been a mainstay coming into summer as well. Yet to see the other two from the player. I'd like to see them prop up at some other point too, where he's just very good.
Oh yes, we have to advertise the skins, of course.
Roaming elsewhere too. It's hard to roam against the Tristana, I will say though. If Shanks is playing as well in laning phase as he did in game 1, maybe Rookie on this roaming pick will also be just penned in a little.
How's living in Korea compared to living in America? I mean, I like both, but I'm enjoying being here for a while. Gonna stay here for a bit. Oh, pretty good. Not a bad burger.
On the cusp of making a mark on the league right here. I feel like this would be kind of a watershed moment for them as a team, because I think a lot of people are excited about this team. A lot of people see the potential of this team, but now we need to see the results, and this would be a hell of a way to do it, wouldn't it? Imagine if you contend for first seed in your group when you've got NIP, when you've got Weibo in that group as well. Anyone's Legend, if they win this game, will be 2-0 in the group.
Another episode of Burgers Only.
4-0 in games. This would be
Maybe we'll call my my cooking stream that when I make burgers.
And the thing which is holding AL back, I guess, in community perception, is that they're just not a big name team. This isn't one of those big old organizations which has had huge results or world championships or something like that. We have a lot of them in the LPL, so it's quite hard to overcome some of those names. This could be the split where they can make a name for themselves amongst all of those great ones too. We'll see how far they can go.
And I will say, like, on that topic, like, first off, they did bring in Allah. He's like, they've added a big name, so it starts to become more believable for the fans. But importantly, a split.
I mean, the pressure that this comp creates is really good, and also they'll be able to farm up the brand really effectively.
Big names start to exist, right? That's where players like Shanks, players like Hope, that have been around the league for a long time, haven't really reach that upper echelon. These are the kind of splits where they can start to separate themselves from the pack.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Hope was on the JDG roster, which won back in 22 summer. So he, like, again, you look at some of these places like, oh yeah, there's some nice names about the place. But you just
Push the envelope of what can be considered a burger.
don't recognize this.
Are tacos burgers?
About the LPL. NIP, I think after last split, again, they started to go up in expectations, and then, of course, being the older brand from V5 with an LPL scope, they had themselves some great moments there too, where they were briefly, and I think again that was in 2022, one of the best teams.
Just like win lane, push super hard, win game comp.
But yeah, it's an interesting conversation, particularly in LPL when it comes to brand and kind of the aura.
Apply pressure, win game, have 3 TPs.
I want to mention that point on Hope as well. Mention the fact
Both
that
teams with 3 TPs.
JDG roster was replaced by Ruler, you know, one of the very best AD carries in the world. Like,
sorry, buddy.
Sorry, like, you're pretty good, Hope, but you're not Ruler good. Before that, it was on EDG. And you know who was replaced by? Viper. Like, this guy just, anytime...
If I use ground beef in a burrito, is it a burger?
The world, I guess. Yeah, Hope, I feel like...
I'm asking the real questions.
Hard run of it in regards to who he's been replaced by. Well, certainly has looked good over the years.
Watching 2015 season yesterday of LoL made me sad seeing you there, the glory days. Why did it make you sad?
On a team like this, because those previous two teams you mentioned, the EDG and the JDG, both had a lot of really powerful pieces in the roster. Maybe this is a moment where Hope can be that powerful piece.
And speaking about kind of the here and now, well, actually, let's talk about mid lane briefly, because we've got a bit of a collapse down here. Shanks has jump, he can get out of this. He's probably just going to buffer out of that stun, and that's going to fizzle out. But Hope has gone for the first strike onto Ziggs. God, is this going to stop now? We're going to finally end this?
Good bit of positioning there from Shanks, dodges away from the flick back. That hits, it's a guaranteed kill. 3 players committed for NIP, and you can see it's a similar thing on the side of AL, so nothing comes out of it in the end, not even a summoner used.
So when it comes to this early game, of course the Viego can make some plays happen. It's a little bit weird thinking about jungle's role within this meta, because when you have you know, Karthus Nidalee, gets a little bit different compared to when you do have Viego. Brand maybe less so in this kind of archetype, but no, we've seen a lot of Xin Zhao Lee Sin for a little while.
Was my favorite season to cast 2014 because LCK was like legit better than Worlds.
You don't really get that. necessarily from your Nidalees within lanes. You get that within the jungle.
In what capacity am I now working over there? I'm just living my life. I mean, I can do LFN anywhere, and we wanted to get our kid fluent in Korean, so we came over here to get him in Korean school. I don't have to live in LA anymore, thank God.
Who here has not been...
Well, my wife basically has a green card, so I can live here indefinitely. So why not come over here?
I do this on a regular basis, except I don't get away with it. I don't just lose my flash. I lose my flash and my heal and my life. And then I run it for the rest of the game.
Trade deal. You receive my life. I receive Los Platos.
Yeah. And then it's, you know, the full EU West experience at that point.
My wife is Korean American. She's an American citizen. But
looking pretty good. So
if you have Korean blood, you can basically get a green card and live forever in Korea.
You can like really leverage your 1v1 lead necessarily. Much more of a pick for later on in the game.
This is the time where in this matchup you can do something. Because level 6, he doesn't have flash, you have ghost. Maybe you can make something work if misposition on the bot side, draw quartz, just about gets out.
Some bombs coming out from Hope as well. I will say Ziggs doesn't do that much just yet, but still has a lot of zone control.
What does Susie do now? Well, she just had another kid in January, so nothing at the moment. Takes care of baby.
Into the river once more. We just got an extended 4v4 face-off where everyone just looks at each other. It's a triple route coming out from Photic.
She says she's raising my children and bringing me lunch, which is true. She's doing a great job.
And that's going to be Photic gone. The burn ticking away on Duo and recess for Shanks as well.
Let's take a look at this fight. I mean, why are we trying to fight this if we're NIP? Why are we trying to fight this? We need to scale, and we have no pressure in our lanes. And Photic just gets jumped on in the back line. Okay. I like how he's level 3. I guess Kyle is only level 4, but he's much more useful, especially because he just flashes in and ease into the back line. Gets his W, so he's immortal. Do we know new baby's name? Yes, Orion.
The triple jump in that play. As you can see, Photic caught out by Kyle on the Leona. We said that's important for him. Kyle, of course, has no flash here. Wouldn't really be able to force that much. It's going to be the Dominus. But he doesn't have any cooldowns left now. Shanji should just be able to walk away.
Yeah, he does have boots over Shanji. So you can see he's actually closing the gap. Still getting a bit of damage down with the Dominus. Won't be able to finish the job, but really, really nice.
Not Orion. Orion.
They're almost 2,000 gold up off the back of it. And I love the decisive engage from Kale. Like, he is so confident to go in, so confident that his team will follow up. I'm going to hold that thought.
Does a new maybe, have a Korean name? Yes, Gi-chan. It's his middle name.
Is in big trouble. Croco's here though, and so is Kale. Actually, it's so confident to go in, so confident that his team will follow up. I'm going to hold that thought.
No ult, no flash.
Yeah, Ala is in big trouble. Croco's here though, and so is Kale. Actually, it's turning around. And guess what? Aki doesn't have flash either. Pyroclasm comes out, but only...
They keep trying to make plays here, but I think they just can't make plays with the game state that they're in right now. I mean, total map pressure for anyone's legend at the moment. Like, the hope here is that you scale for NIP. Thank you. The hope here is that you scale for NIP and that you can force 5v5 team fights with Viego resets at some point, or use a Talia wall to make a play.
We brought him over for, of course, from the LCK, so that one's a bit of an adopted talent, but oh my word, the Zenith play is incredible. It follows through after the flash, and Photic just caught out again. I feel like Photic has had a couple of positioning errors. This one is less on him and more about the Leona just going absolute psycho into the backline. Gets really good value out of that one.
Yeah. Really nice Zenith as well in that it goes through Jwol and then hits Photic as well. So even if you miss on Photic, you're still getting the CC down onto the front line. You're
Team
still
fight delivery secured.
Exactly. And ultimately, that is the 101 for Kale this game, is be the guy that goes in and hope that Ala is on a flank or can follow you in some regard. Because the rest of the team sure as heck ain't. They're going to be standing at range and blasting away.
Funnily enough, I actually think that Chemtech Dragon First is quite important for NIP with regards to that. For the base stats, so we don't think about it that much, but the base stats of some dragons are actually really important. Now, what Chemtech gives is it gives you some tenacity as part of it. It gives some other stats as well, but the tenacity against this team from AL is actually quite big. So if NIP get a hold of that one, that might be quite noticeable as we get into the game if it stacks up with stuff like the MonteCristo as well.
Could be something valuable for them if they can towards that Drake. I mean, we saw the 4v4 standoff for Drake. It feels like both teams are sort of positioning for a similar thing again. We could well have a scrap over this objective. Photic finds a route, just going to look for a soul there. It's Kale. Croco. Off the red buff. Kale just using the Drake to get a bit of harassal to NIP.
Go forth, my minion. Strike them down.
He reckons he's one, Kaiser.
Gosh, remember that? That was such a weird iteration of that one. We once again have a converging of forces coming towards the spot side of the map. Draw has ult, has flash. You can't stand too close to walls with this Ornn.
Croco's moved into the pit, doesn't have flash. This could be... Oh, Draw! I thought he was going to miss the ult.
Towards the spot side of the map. Draw has ult, has flash. You can't stand too close to walls with this Ornn.
Croco's moved into the pit, doesn't have flash. This could be... Oh, Draw! I thought he was going to miss the ult.
Interesting play by Joe, actually. He calls it in and then blast cones, and then barely hits the second part of the ult, the R2. Okay, well, I don't know what Shanks is doing there. He literally sees that they're getting zoned out by Ornn ult, and then he, like, opts into this. He can't even see Viego, and then he just gets jumped on by Viego. I mean, they do lose the Drake as a result of this, but they get the kill. So I guess because Aki goes for the kill, they just give up the Drake to Croco. A little awkward. How did Rookie get knocked off? Oh man, he got knocked off by Ziggs. That's huge. That could have been a big follow-up. Well, no wonder Shanks didn't think he was going to get killed right there, because he didn't think Viego would be off Drake.
Across multiple lanes. I feel like they dropped a couple of waves to get towards that dragon too. Didn't quite see what was happening exactly in mid lane. Shanks getting caught out, that's good for NIP though. We know that Tristana is a champion that wants to really be ahead of the game, and we saw that Rookie really struggled with that in the last game to be as valuable as we know this champion can be. So getting a kill onto them at least stops that Tristana pulling off into the distance.
Croco getting a little bit sneaky with it. There is a ward in that next brush, but he's just going to go for the reset, looking for any potential windows. This Ala, Dominus, Rookie trying to set up the dive. The seismic shove goes wide, and Ala is absolutely chilling.
I think realistically with ult and flash, you're only ever looking to force ult and maybe flash, but now the ult is down, the wave's not quite cleared out. Shanji has ult.
I'm actually really surprised at how weird NIP has been about forcing fights in these games.
Rookie tanking the tower here. Ala tries to flash on, but it's not going to work out in the end. Three-man play top.
Maybe these scaling comps are just not for them. They're going to lose 2 towers as a result of that, though. It's a bad play.
If you ever play away from a Tristana or a Ziggs, they get
it's a bad play.
Tower damage. We saw BLG play this pick the other day and just play away from the Ziggs. I actually think that was a huge mistake, because this champion in the early game gives you 3 plates. Draw couldn't quite get himself the huge knock up onto the brand, but while all this is happening, Shanks kind of sees the engage coming on one side of the fight, feels like he has to step up, and then just puts himself into his own great. Yeah,
but he didn't think the Viego would be doubling back to try and get the kill there. It actually works out.
Well played from Hope on that one too.
Shanks sort of sacrificing himself for the Drake there.
Because there is no follow-up, like them getting the Drake is actually good.
Or they won't be able to contest Drake, and then NIP were like, well, screw the Drake, we'll just kill Shanks.
What's that bit in Titanic like? But the ship can't sink. Well, yep, we have figured out, in fact, that is completely incorrect.
Something like that. He definitely sank in that one. Down into the depths of the river. Tom Kench waiting beneath the waves. 2-2 on the scoreboard. And honestly, it's a pretty sizable gold lead for AL. They're looking good for the advantage in the second game. Photic has been caught out. That's his cleanse and on the scoreboard. And honestly, it's a pretty sizable gold lead for AL. They're looking good for the advantage in the second game. Photic has been caught out. That's his cleanse, and now a solar flare lands on top. Croco easily finishes the job.
Okay,
I mean, that's
but
just egregious.
We have to talk about this. This is not isolated. Look back at the end of spring. Look back at what happened in their first series as well. Photic's positioning has been quite dire at points, and it is important that he goes down here. Can't even use his ult. He can use it from base now, at least as he's respawned. That might be what NIP are hinging on.
Hope feeling
been quite dire at points, and it is important. Have to talk about this. This is not isolated. Look back at the end of spring.
It's such a problem for them taking objectives because the priority has just been in Absolute Legends' favor this whole game. And now it's an even bigger deal because they were able to get, you know, the 4 grubs. So now the pressure is going to be even higher.
Use it from base now, at least as he's respawned. That might be what NIP are hinging on.
Hope feeling inspired by voting there, forced to flash, and now bomb over the team. And this
The
is
fuck are they doing?
Respawn, that might be what NIP are hinging on.
There's nobody here.
Has been quite dire at points, and it is important that he goes down here. This is not
Like, Fodic is dead.
2-2 on the scoreboard, and honestly, it's a pretty sizable gold lead for AL.
Now, Fodic gets picked off.
For the advantage in the second game, and Fodic has been caught.
Dude, he gets picked off. He gets caught so many times by the Leona in this game.
Easily finishes the job.
Okay,
I mean, that's
but like,
just egregious.
we have to talk about this. This is not isolated. Look back at the end of spring. Look back at what happened in their first series as well. Fotic's positioning has been quite dire at points, and it is important that he goes down here. Can't even use his ult. He can use it from base now, at least as he's respawned. That might be what NIP are hinging on.
Hope feeling inspired by voting there, forced to flash, and now bomb over the team. And this is the beauty of it. Leona locks someone up, all of the skill shots immediately collapse on top, and the health bars are just eradicated.
Dude,
Down.
NIP's just committing suicide this game.
Looking fantastic in this series.
They look so much more decisive. So much more decisive. In game 1, I think it was Croco and then Italy being very active around the map. On the brand, you don't always have the tools to do exactly the same thing, but Leona very much does. And on the other side now, I mean,
Kyle actually popping off both of these games.
With the farming Ornn. Why is the Ornn behind in gold? Kyle has got involved in a lot of kills, but is therefore ahead even in the economy against the support, which is meant to be farming better than them.
Good to have you back in the Asian time zone from a viewer from Hong Kong. Yeah.
6 grubs instantly, maybe 3 plates if he feels like he can stick around. I don't know if he'll get away with that one. But yeah, just gold flying in. And once again,
I have returned, so I can have no viewers because I stream LPL again.
2 games in a row now, AL come out to a flying start. They are 4,000 gold up at 13 minutes against a top 4 LPL team. This is a massive performance from AL, and quite possibly the beginning of something beautiful this year.
So in case anyone was wondering where this excitement was coming from, it's from this. By the way, this team looks like they have a lot to work with. We should also mention the fact that, yes, Arla's hit on the roof. I think that sometimes coaching staff have an overstated role within teams. Tabe, I think, is one of the few which is a real exception to that. We saw what he did with BLG last year on their run from spring into being a truly elite.
Thank you, Haziri, for your Twitch Prime sub. Eastern US time zone sounds now sucks. True.
Players, I really want to see what they can do together as a combined unit. And in this game, with this gold lead, I think they're just going to keep forcing plays, and I think NIP are going to really struggle to hold their battle lines, even with the disengaged champions they have.
Dude, how exciting.
Is there a huge difference between in viewership? I mean, it's better in NA because I was, you know, especially for MSI, I was streaming in the morning in NA, which is evening in Europe. So for Western, you know, English-speaking viewers, it's definitely better. Right. But it's hard to say because obviously my viewership will go up during MSI regardless, and I was streaming like every day during MSI, so who knows really. I mean, I also do have, you know, fans in Asia, fans in Australia who watch, so this time zone's better for them. But the bulk of my viewership is North America, is American and European, right?
That is the real key. I love that you bring that up.
I mean, I was up at like 3,000 concurrent viewers at times for MSI. So, but it was also MSI.
In this one, they've gotten their demolitionists ahead. They've got huge damage on their Ziggs now with the Ludens completed already. The first strike has accelerated them towards that. Yes, NIP will get the Herald, but they have lost so many objectives before this. It feels like AL, with also an inroad onto mid lane, might be able to force it. NIP will probably have to try and counter-engage to keep the turret alive, and that's what they're doing.
Oh, the satchel charge knocks Chuo, so he can't get the ultimate off, and now Rookie is going to be locked up.
NIP will probably have to try and counter-engage to keep the turret alive, and that's what they're doing. NIP will get the Herald, but they have lost so many objectives before this. It feels like AL, with also an inroad onto mid lane, might be able to force it. NIP will probably have to try and counter-engage to keep the turret alive, and that's what they're doing. Oh, the satchel charge knocks Chuo, so he can't get the ultimate off, and now Rookie.
Oh no, Rookie!
Doesn't need to use it, keeps alive, even with the bomb ticking on his head. AL can't find.
Is that side tomorrow? Yes. Power spike tonight. My time. Power spike in like what, 9 hours? Did LPL change their format for the summer split? Yeah. I like the format. I think it's good now. Dude, the 6 grubs plus this like Tristana Ziggs is disgusting. Jesus Christ. Not delaying for the big announcement? Why? I can talk about it right now. 2025 LCS is going to be integrating with Brazil. I have to wait.
And they take 2 turrets when they're down. Rookie has to teleport to a side lane to pick up some wave somewhere across the map, because while all this is happening, NIP have no cross maps. They have a Herald now, but where are they going to use that? If they use it top lane, we saw Kyle's up there with ult and flash available. Unless they get a good trade on Shanks, I really don't think they can force this one down. And I feel like AL have absolutely monstered the last phase of play.
I know it's only their second series, but I'm getting so excited about AL.
The Brazilian's so angry on Twitter.
The second tap to order a jersey. Rookie taken down. Kale, has he missed a solar flare yet?
I don't think so. And yeah, so in terms of it's only their second series, should we get excited? I think we absolutely can do, because you got to call out the good play when you see it. Shanji tried to ult through the wall, can't quite get it. Teleport back.
Oh, he's Shanji. He's Shanji. The railgun comes up through, but it's a solo kill for Shanji. TP out from Droll keeps him alive. Maybe there's a glimmer of hope for.
Want to call that one out, but they lose track of.
Do you have any idea what shape this will take? Like I said, I think regular season will be quite similar. I think it'll just be a playoffs integration. But I'm not entirely sure.
Deep teleport. Look at the deep teleport.
In the floor. Very deep teleport for Shanji. He's just abandoned the play.
I mean, they're definitely announcing some sort of like America's thing. I just don't know exactly what it is, but I can tell you what I think it probably will be. At least for year 1, which is 2025, I doubt we're going to see a full league integration.
Where have you gone? Go home, Shanji! Go home, they need you!
I imagine it'll just be PCS style, where we see domestic leagues into a combined playoff bracket.
Tried to go for the real big collapse on the pushing unit. It would have been huge if they could have broken this pressure, which AL have managed to have over the last, again, 4 or 5 minutes at this point. But the execution is sloppy, and AL once again showcasing how decisive they are. Hope is disgustingly strong at this point too.
That was a passage of play of all time. No 2 ways about it. It's a 7,000 gold lead now for AL, and they
A very clean game from anyone's legend, but again, they just went through for pure lane dominance.
Single tower for NIP. They still have that Herald. Hopefully, they'll be able to finish off a mid tower. But then again, I don't know if they ever get control of mid lane to be able to take that tower.
Yeah, that's going to be a huge problem. Shanji, he just leaves. He takes a one-way tricket. He's just gone. Where's he going to? He's just left his entire. They don't have a. Yeah, that's going to be a huge problem. Shanji,
I got Shanji just TP's out.
He takes a one-way tricket. He's just gone. Where's he going to? He's just left his entire.
Why does he TP to the ward? That's so funny. Look at this, guys. He TP's here. While they've got 2 people pressuring bot, and they just dive him.
He's just gone. Where's he going to? He's just left his entire. They don't have a front line anymore. That you can see the angle, shut down the push, but the ward is in such a crowd.
Yeah, Nymir is funny.
He's never going to be there in time, and yeah, this is just such an awkward phase of play, because AL decisively shut them down before he can reach the play.
The timing was really unlucky. Shanji, I don't think, realized Kale was about to dive. He thought that he was the one making the play, but turns out he was evacuating. It's a kind of dodgy Herald, honestly. That feels a little dangerous positioning-wise. Shanji, forced away, does get on the right side of the Sandal Charge, and Crocco's overstepped again. Twice in a row now, they punish the jungler of AL. Looking for more is Shanks as the bomb comes in, and Alla's on the top side of the play, wants to get in the mix. That's another one as they dive further in. Kale has no fear, and neither the rest of the team. Shanji stuns all 3 of them. The railgun in, but it's too little and it's too late. NIP torn. That's another one as they dive further in. Kale has no fear, and neither the rest of the team. Shanji stuns all 3 of them. The railgun comes in, and Alla's on the top side of the
How did we get super chunked here? Oh, Zhuo just gets brought in, and they take a bazillion damage from Ziggs and Tristana. Damn. What a stomp. Credit to AL, though. Way to play around the pushing lanes. Very clean macro game from anyone's legend.
It is good. The rest of the team are already heavily committed into the fight. Ziggs gets to get a whole load of damage for free because he's not the target. Ala is also set up to respond. Then Aki dies.
Shanji, you call that a deep teleport rookie? Obviously, that's against the setter. It doesn't really count, but the Ornn is...
That ain't merit. It's not like Zhuo is 5k ahead himself. So that is not a fair trade deal, and that is not a fair combo.
The sun and the bombs come flying on down. It's like something out of Mad Max. There goes Zhuo as well. He tries to save his mid laner, and he pays for it with his life. And now Shanks blows that mid lane open. It's like Gas Town all over again. AL Zhuo as well. He tries to save his mid laner, and he pays for it with his life. And now Shanks blows that mid lane open. It's like Gas Town all over again. AL pushing in on the bottom side as they look for 2 inhibitors. And honestly, I don't know if there's anything NOP can do about this one. AL can keep the push going. Because remember, this is the
how do you stop this? All right, the push is so strong.
They have a Baron, but this is the end of the game. NIP, you have 1 shot left.
Weave's Wall does absolutely nothing from Rookie. There goes the tower. 1 tower remaining for AL to finish this game. And Ala has found Aki Shanji.
What a weird, like, why was NIP fighting around these objectives so early? What a weird game from them.
The Nexus tower has gone down. Shanji alone. AL making it happen. They're against
Ziggs Trist looking really strong, though. I'll have to keep an eye on that one. Do I have any pets? I do have 2 cats, but they're in the States right now. We have somebody taking care of them. All right, Talia mid is very good. Her damage is always low. Well, I mean, I think it's good that she can be itemized in a variety of different ways. And the nice thing is that she just perma pushes mid and you don't really have to worry about mana, so you always have prio. Are you and D-God moving? I will dominate to Korea as well. He should, honestly. I don't know why he doesn't. I guess he really just likes being in hotter than hell Texas. He didn't buy a new house. No. He has his he's owned that house for a while. No state income tax, but he would still be a Texas resident even if he was in Korea, so it wouldn't matter. And also, you don't pay if he lived elsewhere, he'd be an expat and he wouldn't pay US tax. So you pay federal tax but no state tax. Mondarius, thank you for your subscription. Is this the classic G2 slow start? You better believe it. I'm not worried about G2 at all.
Of the 2 teams.
Yeah, I think definitely so far, and historically speaking, it's crazy to realize that G2 has been ahead for so long, because looking back at the last 1-2 years, BDS has always been in the top 3. They've always been so close to making it all the way, but G2 always, of course, having the advantage. Now, like you said, today might be the day for BDS, I will tell.
And it will. BDS on the blue side, G2 on the red. Draven and LeBlanc taken away by Team BDS. Skarner removed by G2. Sad that we have yet to see that Stinger on the Rift here in the LEC. Rumble alongside it.
Yeah, and some of the other champions like Skarner, Rumble, TF, and LeBlanc almost permabanned.
Yeah, you just have to get rid of them. They're just too strong in the current meta. We've seen some AD mids from Team BDS. We saw that Tristana-Karthus combination. The question is, will they go back to it? So far, Caps has been on the traditional mages, the Hui and the Azir in the mid lane. Ivan, the final ban from G2. Where do BDS put their priority?
All right, so we're still seeing the Rumble Skarner bans and the Ivern versus Sheo.
directions.
All right, first pick Talia.
Prioritizing the Varus behind Sama. Could consider looking into the center with an Nautilus, or even just picking support on 4-5 for Mickey. Cassandra is an option, most often is being prioritized in the 4-5, however. But again, the Varus has been a great choice for Hans, and now they can pretty much decide where they want to go from here. The draft is pretty open, really, for G2.
You have a lot of options, don't you? I really think G2 will likely play R5 top to try and answer Adam. I think Broken Blade has been G2's best player, both at MSI, although I think some people would say Caps played really well at MSI as well, but also in summer so far, his Camille and his Cassante have been very good. G2 likely looking towards a jungler here. Then you can pick either support or mid on 3. There's the Vi, you already talked about it. Unlikely we'll see BDS go for the Karthus, already having the Talia in their toolkit. Most likely they will pick a jungler of their own here. Likely AD, or maybe something tanky like even a Sejuani can work.
Yeah, I think something like a Rek'Sai or Viego, maybe a Sinzar is something you could consider. Or you can just go 4-5 and make sure you get your prior bot lane. Rel alongside Nautilus have been the two most prioritized support so far in the league. And like we saw in yesterday's KC game, Jinx, huge value once you reach the 40-minute mark. Now scaling is secured.
I mean, also in BDS's game, Ice got a pentakill.
Actually true. They even played it themselves.
Who was G2's first loss to? SK. But they nearly came back and won it. Yeah, we will see some Talia jungle, I'm pretty sure. That's a Canyon move right there. Oh no. What happened to the post-MSI cooking stream? It's gonna happen. As I said yesterday, it takes a lot of effort for me to set that up, and I was moving apartments, but it's gonna happen. Probably later this week, early next week, I will do a test run.
Yeah, so here we're most likely going to see G2 continuing to target the top lane, making sure that Broken Blade can get a favorable top lane counter on 5, like you already mentioned. BDS, on the other hand, may want to consider banning something like the Nautilus, or maybe another prior support away from Mickey.
I think getting the Camille off the cards makes a lot of sense.
Camille is pretty strong for sure.
So I think maybe a Nautilus on the second ban for BDS would make sense. With the
it's interesting to see this. This is the third time that G2 has prioritized the Varus so heavily.
I'm wondering what's good into Hwei and mid. You could go for something like
so a lot of teams have still been banning the Draven Kalista, but we haven't seen Kalista be preferred here.
We saw a Varus mid yesterday. I'm just saying, it's G2, anything could happen.
It could be Hwei Varus bot. Hwei, there's the Zac ban alongside Renekton. Lots of probably. I'm sad. I'm sad, Boxer. No Hwei support for you. Instead, the Renata, an auto-attack based AD.
Control and team fights from Hwei, from Renata, already makes the team.
So Gragas blind pick in the top lane for Adam. Adam's team fighting on Gragas has been pretty good this year, but his laning on Gragas has been very shit.
To showcase those what counters he has lined up, what he's been cooking, because truthfully, there's a ton of top lane bans right now.
You've been playing a lot of filter challenger though, and I know top lane, one of your favorite roles. What would you be picking into this composition?
Well, I like Vayne top. Yeah, okay. I said it. But I don't think it's particularly playable into Gragas. I think
yeah.
Here, something like the Cannon probably is a little smaller.
Just take the safe AP matchup.
With Vi, with Varus as well.
Cannon has been very high win rate in solo queue on this patch.
Has been on lane as you said, they would get or even early. Tristana should be at level 1 to push into the teams when you start a little bit late, and when you've been playing fight thing. Just another Monday, you know. In regular,
I don't know, 70%.
See, then you will do about now as well as Sheo and Broken Blade meet in the mid lane. Award was put down, cleared out. Sheo took the oracles first.
Early on, depending on what lane, no matter what happens top, Broken Blade is going to have prior and pushing Adam anyway. So bot is where you want to set your sights early on.
Do you think First Strike is a good rune, Boxer?
I think it's a very powerful rune.
There's 5 people out of the 10 in this game.
I think it's really good.
On Summer, Caps, and Broken Blade
all on
G2.
The pros agree with me. I guess I still got it.
Exactly. Just so much First Strike happening. And BDS stepping in here with Ice and Lebrov, the lane swap that you mentioned happening a couple of days ago with this Jinx. Now it's not a
you can't Q out of Gragas ult for Vayne, it's too big. Vayne's Q is too short. I don't think you can actually Q out of his to dodge his ult. I don't think that's a thing.
But getting Rel to level 2, getting Jinx a couple of levels under her belt as well, just mitigates some of that early game. Also, First Strike isn't as good if there's no one for you to strike. You know, if you can't get gold of anyone, if there's no one in your lane, then it's a lot trickier. Broken Blade backed off.
Also, Gragas can farm with his Q, which makes Vayne a lot less useful.
the next couple of moments. Ice and Labov just doing their due diligence, making sure that Kennen isn't hiding in any bushes, leeching XP off this wave.
All right, so we're still in lane swap meta in spite of the changes. Okay.
Right now into something like the Varus, you simply will have a too hard time laning.
All right, let's take a look at this lane swap. You don't want to deal with the Varus Renata. Be very punishing in the early parts of the lane phase. So instead, Jinx just goes, invades immediately after seeing this. We'll see how many actually turret plates they can get.
Difference between how the two teams have played out the lane swap. Hansama and Mickey going for the two-wave crash. The next wave now joining means they've already picked up a plate from this. Ice and Labrov have gone for a three-wave sack. Denies a little bit more XP in case anyone got close enough to the tower, but means they are a little bit later to actually start hitting on this top lane tower.
And that's the problem with the changes, right? They were supposed to remove lane swaps entirely. Those solar lane turrets are so tanky, like 75% more resistances, meaning that almost no matter what BDS does, they're gonna get one plate at most, while G2 can just hammer away in the turret. Already 2 plates secured for themselves, and sure, G2, a small advantage BDS does, they're gonna get one plate at most, while G2.
All right, so basically, guys, the turret fortification was made even more severe in the top side and in the mid lane. So Broken Blade going to try and actually get some XP off of this. He thinks they've recalled. He dies. He thinks they've already recalled is why this happens. Then he figures out that they haven't. I'm very surprised they will have an announcement ready tomorrow when the final decision was only made today. No, the decision was made previously by Riot. It was only told to the teams today, guys. There's a difference. You see, Riot doesn't like leaks. So what happened is probably the teams were told today, but Riot has probably already recorded a video of that announcement. They don't actually ask the teams, you know what I mean? Well, they do. They ask them for their feedback, but they don't actually tell them that the decision is incoming because it would leak.
Eyes were like deceiving me. I saw this hamster running directly towards the top one, but
the thing is that Broken Blade dying repeatedly isn't actually that bad in the top side right now because he gets some level. Oh, actually, he hasn't gotten. He gets some level of XP, right? But Adam is getting a hell of a lot of XP in this top side.
Cap's going to take a bit of damage as well. Mickey looking for the trade. Caps with a bit of a shield. Nuke has the flash. Can he jump away? Yike on his way. Can follow with the
he has flash.
Here. Nuke holds it. Flash is just in time. Caps with another grasp.
Nice. I trade flash for flash there. So he Q flashes. Yikes, Q flashes here. Q flash. So he forces the flash. Then he gets the maw. Then he gets the kill.
As Caps takes the kill in mid. 2 for 1 at the exchange.
Wouldn't it just be better to follow the jungle and leech XP? That doesn't work very well because even if you take 3 camps, even if you follow and do 3 camps, you're still level 1. That big wave is much better. So they kind of bait this out. Mickey X is here covering this actually. Sheo actually just going to try and flash in for that. Nice handshake.
Sheo goes down, so now it's 2 for 2 at 4:30. And even though Broken Blade made a bit of an oopsie in the top lane, it's been evened out by 2 kills for Caps in mid.
I mean, his tactical depths actually worked perfectly. BDS got so much confidence that they ended up overextending and died mid, and now maybe even Adam is to follow.
He can body slam away. The wave, not in the best of spots for him. He's just going to back in the bush here. I wonder if Broken
So basically it was just a plate differential. BDS does have a slight gold lead now.
In a moment's time, it's just on the edge of turret range. Adam realizes, well, can't really leave this lane frozen. Comes to thaw his house.
Do you think League will do something like Smite, like League 2, where they only release a handful of champs on new engine and client? No, because that would cause a lot of people to quit the game. They'd have to do what Counter-Strike did and port all of the cosmetics to the new game.
Interesting to see this prio.
It's not like Smite had a giant player base, guys. If you literally push the reset button on people's accounts where they lost all their champions and all their skins for those champions, people would just quit.
Priority on getting the Drake, but I guess with Grub still 40 seconds away, you can...
And, you know, despite what you might think, League still has an enormous global player base, so it's not like Smite that was, like, probably dead. And so it's worth it for them to hit the reset button to get new players. Like,
Also worth noting that while
The number of new players that they would get, I think, would be dwarfed by the number of people who would leave the game. But maybe I'm wrong.
I agree, it's much better on the support.
Yeah, sure.
I've seen you be kill thirsty in your challenger runs on that Lulu. Adam here, gonna get traded and Mickey coming back to the lane, gonna push this out. Overall, they're relatively good beneficiaries of the early lane swap. You can see 282 gold their lead, a couple of plates falling for them as well, as Hansama might even try and get in range for another plate here. Gets himself a little bit more gold as it does go down. And across the board, G2's carries are ahead. However, as you say, Lebrov a little bit ahead for BDS.
Now at this point, we need to keep an eye on this.
Is First Strike OP? Yes, it absolutely is OP.
So far, despite some difficult G2 games, is roaming around the map and setting Yike up for success. And at this point, with Void Growth being up and Dragon,
I mean, there's different ways to look at it, right? Like, they removed Lethal Tempo, which was one of Varus's runes. So he has to do something else. So part of it is removal of other runes, but also, and look, Kennen has always taken First Strike.
To make sure he was safe farming up the minions under the turret. Ice resets, he's going to open through the top lane. Looks like it might
Or Conqueror, I guess, sometimes.
Try and put him behind a little bit more. You do often see this when you have your support already roaming for the grubs.
But First Strike was also buffed.
Push, reset, go towards top side. The bolstering of the towers falls off at 5 minutes anyway, so that 75% damage reduction no longer has any effect.
Gragas First Strike? Well, he can't take Predator anymore because they removed it.
Especially if you can get that passive ramping up.
Luckily for G2, they were aware of it, managed to match the recalls, and you see Hansama and Mickey sprinting to top side as soon as possible, trying to prevent any tower damage from happening. Now, it's really up to BDS to decide if they want to continue playing this game of ping pong, so to speak. Just keep, you know, basing, pushing out, getting G2 to follow, or, you know, decide if they eventually want to put their foot in the pedal and move the game forward.
So the question is, from a compositional point of view, when I look at this, I would say BDS really don't care if there's no fighting for the next 15 minutes. If they can just ping pong, bounce back, lose a turret.
Yeah, they have great peel for their 280 carries, like between Gragas and Rel and Jungle Taliyah. They're happy to just farm up the Taliyah. Like, the onus is definitely on G2 to get something done here. Vi feels really shit, I think, in this composition. Because how do you get onto the backline and stay there? I think it's really hard for Yike to play.
Knowing that Mickey is going to be late, obviously. Yike is also recalling very late to something they're not really aware of, but right now the focus isn't so much to get plates, because like you mentioned, Jinx is going to scale anyways. He's going to be very strong in a while from now. But Dragon is up in 2 minutes, and if you're BDS, you want to make sure you can continue setting up vision around that area, make G2 face check you when Dragon is up, and hopefully eventually get yourself to a soul point.
Talked about Mickey's roaming earlier on. Lebrov through spring, through winter, I think sometimes undersold in terms of the impact he has for this team. You have to remember bringing Ice in, an AD carry who, although can speak some English, there are some communication difficulties still within the team. Having Lebrov be such a voice and be such an impetus for the team has really helped them out. So we'll see how much he can move around the map here. Has already got his world atlas up.
I don't know why, but both Rahel and Ice don't build LDR. Well, LDR was changed, so it actually doesn't do... it doesn't have that Giant Slayer passive anymore. So I'm not sure what the best... I mean, usually, though, it's like the first 3 items are like Kraken, Kraken, Phantom Dancer, IE now for Jinx.
No, that's just excuses, really.
I mean, the big thing, Super Mega Death Rocket.
Phantom Dancer is very good now.
Now, I will say, this is one of those moments where it feels cool that it hits onto the AD carry, because you're like, oh, you're stopping the AD carry's tempo, he doesn't have much CS. If you stop Mickey's tempo, he'd already placed his
6 items. Well, look, I haven't seen this game, but why would you build LDR this game? Who's building armor on the side of G2? Like, do you care about Vi? Not really. I don't think it's necessary. You're probably just better off building, you know, more crit.
Well, they decided to prioritize top and avoid grubs instead. You could see Laprov running immediately out of base into...
Yeah, the perma ghost on Phantom Dancer now is very interesting.
His vision down, and now he just needs to determine whether he's going to linger around the area, protect his
Armor
vision.
passively from levels makes it worth it. I don't know. It could be a mistake. I haven't done enough looking into kind of the ADC itemization at this point since they made all the changes. The pro players are probably just getting used to it as well.
wards in their jungle, which they haven't managed to do. You can see
I'll be honest, I'm not sure exactly what's optimal in this game.
Sitting in that bush in front of the buff as well. G2 here, BDS will be very aware of what G2 are doing. The question is, do G2 still want to take the fight? Because I wouldn't be surprised if they do. They have Bailout, they have Hans Summer 6, they have Caps, who's already finished the Luden's Companion. They're in a good spot to fight. They just don't have the vision control that BDS has garnered.
Yeah, but they're slowly starting to create control for themselves through top side, pushing in top together, grouping is free, and now you're going to see the trio from G2 slowly pulling the grubs up towards their side. Broken Blade has TP, Caps will have to walk all the way around, which is the downside to this play, but they're slowly getting some form of control back.
The other downside
they do need to be aware of TP flanks from Gragas.
TP flanks, 100% agree with you, but also BDS only needed 1. They already have the might spawning. If they can get 6, obviously that's a bonus, but just getting 1 was enough to get them over that 4 mark. Now, it looks like they will be able to claim 5 of them. G2 still 1 away, which is probably what their intention was after they'd lost that first.
The intention behind this from G2,
This Kennen being, I mean, the Kennen is now nominally like a little bit ahead, but
it was easy for BDS to
this Jinx getting huge is not amazing
to create a gap between themselves and Caps. Part of that definitely was the
for G2.
in that jungle that led to them being afraid of going for the play, but let's see.
Weaver's walled down. Hans Summer has to flash away from the seismic shove. Bailout not used yet. There it comes. Exhaust onto Hans Summer.
Let's get all their sums.
He flashes away from it as well. Sheo locked up with the cease and desist. Lavrov trying to turn it back onto Hans Summer. Sheo the first to fall. Hans Summer low as well. He has the bailout. Yike falling though. As Ice
Oh my god, the triple. Oh, he doesn't get it. It's close though. I mean, this is such a hard, I mean, with no sums left, because you have to remember, like, look at this. They just get all of their sums. I guess Mickey still has exhaust, but they have to use both flashes and cleanse here. Because Hans cleanses the exhaust so that Labrov drops on him. And so they commit to this, but there's still a zone going on here with the E, right? And he gets hit by the W, so he has Bailout up, but Ice is still full HP, and he just free fires, and he still has ult. I actually wonder if he flashes here if he kills Mickey. But he's respecting the Hui Roam.
Wow, that was a good Jinx fight, Medic. Like we spoke about the importance of G2.
Yeah, really bad engage by G2.
Well, I was about to say slowly, pretty rapidly actually turning into a monster on the Jinx.
I mean, look at this. They get absolutely everything. Ice is able just to cleanse out of the Renata ult. So now they don't have 2 flashes. They don't have Renata ult. They still have the E. He hits the EW while he's in the while he's waiting for the Vial to hit him.
G2 pushing the game forward, snowballing with the Varus, and now all of a sudden Ice is, well, I was about to say slowly, pretty rapidly actually turning into a monster on the Jinx.
I mean, you talk about Jinx scaling all the time. Like, one of the best AD carries if you can get a reset in a late game fight. Here, already got 2 kills, 700 gold ahead. Kraken Slayer complete first.
Yeah, Ice was good last split too. Underrated. Considering he was just like playing Varus and Jhin only. He was like a long-range engage AD carry for most of the split.
I think this was very disrespectful from G2 more than anything. They know that Lavrov and Sheo are around the tri-bush looking. They decide to walk up anyways, have to burn every single one of their summoners. Yike comes in, but at this point the fight is already kind of hard to play out. And you can even see in the minimap Caps trying to make it to his team in time, but it's just too forced and too late.
Ice has good awareness here. I think he doesn't flash in because he sees Mickey X with no flash and no mana. And like he could take this kill, but he respects the roam from Caps, so he doesn't flash in.
And with the bailout, we have an extra life. We can try and fight through Ice, but Ice getting that initial kill.
He's not getting too greedy.
It means that it's so much harder to catch him, right? You just have a Renata chucking out handshakes. It's like, excuse me, much more of a high five guy, says Ice, as he manages to avoid it. G2's bot lane now with no summoners. Ice and Labrov with the advantage in the lane. Opportunity first for Hans Summer. He is going that lethality route. And we'll see how effective it is as the game goes on. Drake up, and Mickey caught out. No flash on him, no hope for him to survive. Sheo takes the kill, and BDS likely going to look towards that dragon. Possibility of a dive, but they decide against it. Place the ward behind the wall there. It means they would spot Yike as he walks around the corner. Instead, they just secure the objective.
Do I miss Casting League? I mean, Casting League was fun, but I don't miss all of the Riot bullshit associated with it. Like,
Yeah, if you're in that game, you're
you know, being in an arena and casting is very fun. I miss that. Everything else about the job was garbage. And it's not worth the career suppression and everything like that. Dealing with Riot. Horrible.
They're happy to be, you know, even or even slightly behind, so this is a fantastic position for them to be in. Now it all comes down to how well they manage to snowball, how can they set up the Rift Herald to secure that for themselves without losing a potential fight, and then snowballing further by taking the tier 1s, getting the deep vision for tier 2s, etc.
And the AoE that Huawei can put down in fights with Spiraling Despair with the Severing Bolts is so impactful. The question is, can G2 survive this burst through BDS before they have the opportunity to respond?
Yeah, I think for G2 generally, like, this is a game where lethality barriers actually makes a lot of sense because you have a lot of squishies on the enemy side. But of course, it's not always going to be easy to, you know, power through the Gragas and the Rel. So often we need to keep an eye out for TP wards.
Are any other director arcs planned for foreplay? I see you didn't watch the last one where we announced the new arc. Taken R. Telling on yourself there. The next arc is a director arc. It's Paul Thomas Anderson. Why deal with Riot and Castle? You essentially do the same thing for to an audience that's tailored to your style. Exactly. I mean, obviously, I can't make a living off of a 400 concurrent viewer stream, but this is just part of what I do. And LFN is doing very well.
And here, naturally, G2 will start losing more than BDS. It's just about finding the trades, finding a way to prevent them from falling further and further behind.
Are you excited about the new Witcher game? Yes! Witcher 3 is my favorite game of all time. I'm very excited about the new Witcher game.
Could be on the next track, and it could be now when BDS starts pressuring mid and bot. But it's a tough decision to make when you're in-game, because you know when you're already this down against that scaling comp, you don't have a lot of chances. You can't afford making too many mistakes.
G2 have always been, well, I say always, in recent times, G2 have been very good at finding the plays that mean they don't fall too far behind, especially in Europe, right? They understand, well, enemy team is overloading this side, we can play 2 lanes, we can get pressure in mid and get a tower in the top lane. We'll see if they can do it here. They are about 2,000 gold in the hole, the Drake up in 2 minutes time. For BDS, it would be a perfect start. But obviously top 3.
I still haven't finished Cyberpunk, actually. I need to get on that.
BDS will be looking for a team, I think, still sometimes overlooked because they're rarely in the final and they often fall.
Best RPG of all time is Fallout 2. Fallout 2 is good, but it's no Planescape Torment.
In Europe, even if they haven't quite broken through the G2-shaped ceiling at the top of the LEC.
I really like the macro right here from BDS. Often after plates fall, you're naturally going to see teams put their AD carry in mid lane to just farm safely and then slowly get control around it. But here...
Oh, Mickey locked up. He's going to be tanking the tower. Yike is on the flank. Labrov on his way across as well as Ice. Super Mega Death Rocket a possibility. Weaver's wall in. Mickey has the flash. Will use it to jump over the wall and escape for the moment.
Do I like any Japanese RPGs? Final Fantasy VI, Chrono Trigger, the classics.
So you're always going to want to play for towers in the lane that Jinx is in. That's where you can naturally pressure, and it's been working great for them so far. Like, Ice has been demolishing any turret in front of him. Now, of course, mid is going to be the most difficult one to crack, but they can pretty easily push out top very deep, rotate down, create a number advantage, and then go for that too. First though, Dragon is up in 40 seconds.
Yeah, and with the Rift Herald available, expect to see Sheo on this reset, path through mid, put that Rift Herald down. You can already see Labrov moving into the river to make sure they have vision control. They've even put quite a few wards around their own red buff to look for those flank TPs, to look for any vision that G2 may have got down there while they were pushing out the bot side. Red buff is the first priority for Ice. TP coming in as well by Caps as he's going to join the fight. G2 looks like they've drawn their battle plans. This is where the war can be won. BDS.
You miss Doa so much? You don't have to miss him. We do a show together. We do a podcast. There you go. It's on that channel. Last 3 Nation Culture. We still do stuff together. Our discussion on Furiosa is going to come out today.
Nuke actually going all the way up to top here. Does have the TP. G2 start up the Drake. I wonder if BDS might just be giving this.
I think BDS is essentially going to tell G2 that you can have Dragon if you want, but if you do, we're going to take your mid turret and we might even potentially threaten tier 2.
I mean, they don't even get the mid tower though. BDS a little bit odds and ends as the Rift Herald did come down, chunks it out a little bit. Hans Summer here.
Ooh, nice actually crushing Maw there. Dude, ice on point, man. Oh, he almost actually dodged that Renato ult too. Dude, Yike can't do anything. Yike can't get back to, he never can actually get back to ice. Oh, he was so close. Look at that.
Once again, Adam finds a good flank position as he finds another. Mickey forced away, and all the time, Nuka's been pushing in top.
Ultimately, good.
Meanwhile, Nuke just split pushing in top side during this entire sequence, so G2 actually just committing to a 5-player Drake here. And they opt out because they're just playing pressure with Tristana split push. Yeah, this is good macro from BDS. Like, the Kennon's not there, and the Kennon's not TPing in. He TPs into this turret, but this is such bad play. Holy moly. Like, you know, there is an opportunity to make a play here, but basically the Kennon just goes into the bot side, and he doesn't actually TP to anywhere meaningful, so he can't get a flank off, and his TP just gets canceled onto the turret.
I mean, they don't even get the mid tower, though. BDS a little bit odds and ends as the Rift Herald did come down, chunks it out a little bit. Hans Summer here on the front line. There's the spiraling despair on Sheo. Magnustorm comes in, so we'll find one as Caps falls first. The bit out coming out as the tower falls. Berserk onto Icy, has to cleanse. Yike dashes in with the season assist and the Vault Breaker, and he finds 2, but he gets taken out by Ice once again. Adam finds a good flank position as he finds another. Mickey forced away, and all the time, Nuka's been pushing in top.
Ultimately, good macro from BDS. A little bit undecisive on the play, but despite that, G2, they got a little desperate. They knew Tristana was pushing top. They knew they had to react quickly and kind of got baited into a poor fight.
Because they lost the first 2 Drake, they didn't want to give up Soul Point.
Just continues to explode.
Yeah, up to 4,000 right now. I think the Rift Herald charge, I thought G2 would be able to defend.
Well, let's see it again right here.
Labrov, great engage there, though.
Labrov, Broken Blades TP started. I believe he may have gotten cancelled.
Got canceled because the turret died, Brock, so come on. Get it together.
Now, the spectator client can be a little bit weird at times. So, we didn't quite see where he used his TP, and that's okay.
Can be weird at times. It's literally wrong every time in the replay. It's wrong every time.
They could create a number advantage with TP.
Do you think he TP'd to the tower and it got killed?
Yes.
It's quite possible. We didn't see it in the moment. Tweet at Broxer if you know what was correct. Tell him he's a big dum-dum for not realizing it in the moment.
Okay.
And we don't have the luxury of pause and rewind, you know?
True.
Apart from replays, obviously, which we did
I'm pretty sure they wanted to force a play to get Tristana to move, see if he could cancel. Tristana stays top. Fight turns into a disaster. Well, depending on which team you're on, of course. But
BDS riding high, though. 5,000 gold ahead. The Baron a possibility for them. 2.5 items on their Jinx. 2.5 on Hans Summer as well, but his consistent DPS doesn't really match that of a Jinx at this point in the game. However,
Yeah, going lethality, Varus is not going to help in an extended battle versus a Jinx, especially because the Ice gets the free fire because he has so much zoning from Rel, Gragas. I mean, even Tristana ult can help out, right?
right now, keeping news topside. BDS,
it must have been to the tower. It must have been to the tower.
It was to the tower. BDS is basically just wanting to brute force Baron right away instead of sending nuke bots. They want to fight right here and right now. And as you can see, G2, they're going to continue to play the division in their own jungle and essentially just try to have...
We're going to see any Kennen plays this whole game. Broken Blade just going to be a 0-2-0 for an entire game.
Pull the trigger whenever they want.
Yeah, BDS are spiking so hard right now. 2.5 items on your AD carry. Nuke has 2 as well with the Navori Flicker Blades. 2 on Shale.
Do you think traditional DPS Varus build is playable into that comp? No. It's not. There's too much disruption for you. I mean, I rarely think that on-hit Varus is actually playable these days.
BDS have done their due diligence quite a lot this game, though. Have been making sure that there's no easy avenues for G2 to get back into the game or get back into a fight.
I think here if you're BDS, you have to eventually realize that starting Baron so early, being only 23 minutes in the game, might be a little bit difficult. Shift your Tristana down to bot lane, play for the finals here too, and then you can either shift off for Baron or just keep that pressure until Dragon spawns. Now we are closing in The Dragon timing 1 minute and 30 seconds away. Nuke will continue to go to the top. And I'm curious to see how they're going to utilize this pressure, because they've been in this game state for a little while now without getting anything, and they really have to make that prior work. They can't let G2 scale.
Yike just used Smite.
What do you mean they can't let G2 scale? They scale just fine. Like, why do we care if G2 scales?
Back up now. BDS, the tiniest of windows to start a Baron at that point. Ice fighting around this mid lane control. Adam looking for the explosive cast.
Ice, interestingly, going for a rapid fire can, so he actually didn't go PD at all.
Jinx has 3 items. They really want to fight right now, no matter what it takes, and they know that if they can keep Ice alive, there could be another potential.
So easy to keep Ice alive.
Rapid fire cannon helping out quite a lot as well, just to get those chip autos in. You know, so difficult to step up to the Jinx in this sort of position. Another energized auto available for Ice. Mickey will be the front line, has that Celestial opposition for a little bit more tankiness. Nuke looking for possible flank position, but look at the block. Look at where he
Poke damage is not doing enough right now onto Ice.
His way around. The sneakiest rail you ever did see. Yike goes in, doesn't spot him. Or does he? Oh, okay, so Yike didn't go over the wall. Now, they will know that ward was placed very recently because of the timer on it. Broken Blade realizes LeBron was waiting in the bush. He takes the Scryer's Bloom on his way.
Just do Baron.
Going to get chased down by Broken Blade. Slicing Maelstrom used as well. BDS has started up the Baron. Yike looking for that steal. Caps coming in from the side as well, and Mickey's there to join the fray. LeBron keeping Broken Blade at bay with the exhaust coming down. There's the bailout. Hits onto Adam. The smite comes
nice barrel onto Yike.
Somehow still alive. Towards the top side, eventually he goes down, but BDS will sacrifice their rel, their knight in shining armor, to secure themselves a Baron.
And Laparov was the genius all along, stressing out G2, pulling Broken Blade away, and the Baron was a little bit sketchy. I would have liked to see them stopping Yike from getting into the pit to begin with. Once he was in the pit, they did knock him away slightly and made it somewhat difficult, but that could have been a scary, scary situation for BDS.
Definitely could have been when it used to flips here though in Europe, and BDS were willing to take it now with the Baron for the next 2.5 minutes. Super Mega Death Rocket won't secure the Drake. 2 now to G2. BDS on their reset weren't able to get out in time to contest.
But that's the thing, the resets. G2 hasn't reset yet, and now BDS is already coming out, able to push out mid and bot, and G2 is going to have to give up a lot because they have to go back at full health, mana, spend their gold, etc.
Let's see, Caps trying to clear out this wave before the Baron bolstering comes in. We'll get most of it, so BDS will have to wait for the next one. Adam's going towards mid to buff up that wave as well. There is a tier 2 in both the mid and the bottom lane for BDS to take. So far, the Baron power play, only about 700 gold. Expect that
you do a teams to watch list / video for this season. Yeah, I'm not sure that, I mean, anyone's legend kind of came out of the woodwork, but I mean, basically when I start doing power rankings again, it'll be the teams to watch list. You know, with a lot of the changes that have happened, everything like that, be hard to tell.
They have some wards in the top side of their jungle that Broken Blade could potentially use for a TP flank. If BDS continues to push up mid, that's
well, the reason Kennen is useless this game is because of the lane swap that happened and the fact that he got behind. I'm not sure it means that Kennen is useless. It's just that, you know, they sacrifice Kennen to make sure the Varus didn't get behind, but now the Varus doesn't do anything, and the Jinx is super far ahead, so. Any clues to what the LCS is announcing tomorrow? Yeah. 2025 combining, making the LOL Americas.
But G2 didn't see the angle to find an engage.
Very difficult position for them to be in, really. I mean,
Training tier 1 for inhibs. I mean, they're not actually, they don't have a good ward to TP to. And the disengage is so good. I mean, this game is just lost. But it's still bad for this trade, obviously.
Broken Blade get a turret out of his push, but G2 didn't see the angle to find an engage.
Very difficult position for them to be in, really. I mean, if you are G2 right now, the ball isn't really in your hands anymore. You just have to hope that BDS eventually makes a mistake. And you have
yeah, it is very, that's true. Noven Silas or Noven Siles. It is very hard for them to stop that anyway because the siege is so good from the Tristana, Jinx, and the Gragas. Like, you can set up zones. We've already seen that Lebrov can just kind of indiscriminately dive the turret like he did at mid-tier 1, so they are at least getting something for it and threatening the TP, and if they see that angle, maybe they can pull the trigger. But you're probably right. They probably lose those inhibs because of Baron no matter what.
and the Lightning Jewel, not, you know, Rocket Belt Rabadons or something.
LCS trying to get the CB LoL viewership. I don't think they'll combine regular seasons right now, but I could be wrong. I think what they will do is they will just make a combined playoff bracket like PCS.
Really doing his duty as a support, just trying to keep Ice alive. All summoners up on either side, apart from Adam's TP right now. Drake up in 2.5 minutes, but BDS, you know, you get the mid prio, you can push this out, you have super minions spawning in 2 lanes, and then you can work your way down towards bot, use the pressure the super minions apply to try and open up that 3rd inhibitor tower.
G2 should be able to buy enough time here for both Broken Blade to get his Crypt Bloom, Caps getting his Rabadons as well, Caps is closing in on level 16 too. If they can wait for those spikes.
No, I think LCS will still be LCS, but they'll just announce like, oh, it's like the PCS style playoff bracket or something like that. Who knows?
They did get the 2 previous ones, but if BDS gets their hands on Baron, it's going to be near impossible for them to defend their base in the next push.
Saw Mickey stepping up, trying to get this kind of a flank TP ward in. It still sits there. BDS, there were a couple of pings in the area. Maybe they were on the bush instead. That ward is there, and BB can look for the TP flank.
G2 got their spikes. Items secured.
Complete. Crypt Bloom complete. BDS step forward, but decide discretion is the better form of valor as they step back. G2 on the back foot, but we've seen them knocked to the mat so many times. They continue to get up. There's the Weaver's Wall. Sheo separates. Hansama still has the flash. There's the TP. Immediately by Broken Blade. He's looking for the flank of the season who sits on Ice. There's the Slicing Maelstrom as well.
All right, so this is the hero play that they've been trying to get, but look at Ice. Ice's positioning here. I mean, they try and throw everything at him, and he just actually cleanses and flashes out. So yeah, they can't actually finish the fight. That was literally everything they had to throw at them, and they get 1 player. They have to go stop their base from dying at some point.
Seeing perhaps a BDS go 1 member on the wrong way. Adam's going to recall. Nuke's going to work his way back around.
Sneaky, sneaky.
You just go for Adam here?
No, they're not going to combine the league this season. They've already announced the playoff bracket. It'll be for next year. They can't do it that quickly.
Super Mega Death Rocket wide as Yikes survives, and G2 looked for one last tasty morsel at the end of the buffet. That was that fight, couldn't find it, and managed to escape.
Picking Kennen into Gragas is a pretty big problem here, turns out.
I have to say, that was a fantastic play for them.
Broken Blade has 2,000 gold, but now, I mean, sure, they blew the summoners from Ice, but he got out of everything and didn't die.
He cannot flank as easily anymore. They should be able to deal with him.
But how do you kill him now? You use Flash on Kennen and Vi, so you can't kill him. Can't kill Jinx.
Now G2 has to contest.
Cask has such a short cooldown.
It's spawning in just a moment here, and they're gonna try to establish vision, establish control in that topside jungle, so either they can get a pick on BDS or brute force their way into the pit so they can steal.
Nuke has been sent to do the dragon alone. It's not too difficult for him on the Tristana. He already has 3 items complete. G2 look for an opportunity as they lock up Adam. Explosive cask a possibility, uses it just to disengage. Takes a chunk though. Does have the TP, can reset if he thinks that is the better course of action here. Nuke got the push, got the Drake, and now is going for the push in the bottom lane. He has a teleport of his own. Adam's going to reset like the TP to the mid lane tower. Stops his recall, healing up with that Drunken Rage. The Happy Hour passive actually so powerful on Gragas.
BDS actually took a pretty big risk here prioritizing the dragon, because sure, they got the 3rd dragon and they're 1 step closer to Soul, but that Soul is 4.5 minutes away. And now they gave up a good chunk of their vision in the Baron area, and you can see here Labrov face checking very carefully, not knowing for sure if G2 is lingering around trying to set up a trap play. Once they have established the vision again, then they can start sending their sights on Baron.
BDS now a pretty angelic team, really. You've got the Seraphs and the Guardian Angel. They are truly hoping that the heavens give them guidance in these next fights. Still about 3,000 gold ahead, but that gold lead really hasn't extended. In fact, it shrunk over the last few moments. And G2 have the time and the energy to step into this river and regain control.
I would like to think that all players are angelic. We play League of Legends, Medic.
Yeah, true.
Angelic, innocent.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
That's all of us.
I've never, you know, seen anyone saying anything negative on a League of Legends stream.
Me too. Me too.
Anyways, pulled back for the handshake. Feared up as well. LeBron might just die. Spiraling despair. Despair.
Me too. Me too.
Anyways, pulled back for the handshake. Feared up as well. LeBron might just die. Spiraling despair.
G2 nearly came back versus SK, by the way.
Gets his third of the game. 3 items enough.
Like, they are actually an insane comeback team. Yeah, this team will be good again. I think they're just on an MSI hangover, more or less.
In mid lane, that's what they're going to do first. Obviously, the Baron a possibility as well. Explosive cast landing onto Mickey, but he's not tanking. The Weaver's wall was flashed to the other side of it. The wall now going to be dropped by Sheo. G2 turn their eyes towards the Baron. Caps no ultimate for him. Hans Summer doesn't have the Chain of Corruption either. Mickey has the bailout.
They're gonna buy time for the flashes. Kennen and Varus have flashes very soon. Yike as well. And once those summoners come back up, it should be way easier for them to set up a good fight for themselves.
Take your time, G2. BDS still scaling. G2 happy to do the same. Obviously, Hui so powerful as the game goes on, especially when you give him crowd control to work with. And Broken Blade has that in spades with the slicing Maelstrom. Baron begun by BDS. And immediately stopped as they think they were actually just looking for the ward at the time. Labrov has respawned, he's back here. They know Broken Blade's pushing in the bot lane. Have they cleared out behind them? Yes, no wards for G2 there. Broken Blade does have a teleport and will be looking for that flank position. Hans Summer puts a chunk down onto Nuke. There's a TP to the top side. The Baron was down to 6,000, but now heals up rapidly. G2 will restart it. They'll hold the aggro for now. Recall coming out from Nuke. He's got a teleport to rejoin the battle if he so desires. The Baron down to 8,000 as G2 start to melt through it. Sheo nowhere near this. The TP comes in, but that Baron's already down to 2,000 HP, and Sheo is dancing on the other side of the wall. The Baron down to 8,000 as G2 start to melt through it. Sheo nowhere.
So one of the problems I will say with running jungle Taliyah is that, you know, a lot of times if you have a mid Taliyah, like you're looking to kind of play the flank and then get a good wall off around an objective. But if you're trying to do that with the jungle, you're not there actually threatening a smite steal, which it changes your positioning in team fights and objective control from a mid Taliyah in weird ways. You know what I mean? Like to get, he doesn't have wall here, but you get my point. And it's hard to walk up on the objective as a Taliyah.
G2 will be damn happy with that. Mickey falls, G2 get out. Lavrov still trying to chase forward. Spiraling despair on him as Nuke gets the flank, but he's 1v4 right now. Cease and desist goes in as Nuke is locked up for a second, slicing Maelstrom as well. And Nuke is atomized. Sheo has to pop the subwatch to survive the onslaught from Caps, and G2 find one in response. 1v4 might be sacrificed, but I'm pretty sure G2 will be the TP. Happy with that. Mickey falls, G2 get out. Lavrov still trying to chase forward. Spiraling despair on him as Nuke gets the flank, but he's 1v4 right now. Cease and desist goes in as Nuke is locked up for a second, slicing Maelstrom as well. And Nuke is atomized. Sheo has to pop the subwatch to survive forward. Spiraling despair.
What is Nuke doing in this fight? Ooh. He gets his W canceled. His W canceled by VIR. He actually flashes that too.
To survive the onslaught from Caps, and G2 find one in response. Sheo dodges to the side of the Severing Bolt. The piercing arrow just tickles his heels, but doesn't quite land. Severing Bolt short again.
Whoops.
And BDS should be able to retreat from here.
Loses the flash too, that's rough.
For a moment, Nuke was trying to get inspiration from Broken Blade, and he's like, I'm a Yordle too, I can also flank. Well, I have a feeling he regrets his choices right now. Didn't exactly work out for him.
To restart it as quickly as they did. Definitely didn't expect G2 to have the damage output they did in the moment.
And I think for BDS more than anything, it's kind of a shame they were in such a good position to secure the Baron for so long, but they were hesitant to pull the trigger, lost control, and never really found their...
Yeah, especially because Labrov flashes out there. And so there's just no support to come in and even help him if he doesn't. He also just mechanically misplays.
Every fight for BDS was so split, you know, Sheo behind the wall when the Baron
wow, BDS played pretty well this game up until this point.
Was following around the bottom side, the rest of BDS came around the top side, so you never really had this quasi front to back that ICE really wants in these situations. You never had Lebrov leading the charge in with the Magnet Storm. Now G2 with the Baron, 2,500 or 2,200 perhaps for these inhibitors once again. I don't think G2 will be able to answer in time. The question is, I mean, do you send someone back and then try and respond? You have the Baron empowered recalls. I was wondering if they just go for an all-out push through bot. That's what Broken Blade's doing. Caps retreats. Yike looks for a flank position. BDS get double inhibs. Broken Blade gets one. Adam has a TP, but G2 are going to try and stop the ports to make sure that Broken Blade has a bit of time with this Nexus tower. The recalls begin. Close enough. Broken Blade will realize there's the TP from Adam. Should back away as that ports. Do you send someone back and then try and respond? You have the Baron empowered recalls. I was wondering if they just go for an all-out
trade, soul points.
Caps retreats.
And 2 inhibs for 1 inhib. Pretty good.
With this Nexus tower, the recalls begin. I think Broken Blade will realize there's the TP from Adam. Should back away as that TP completes. Instead, he stays, gets one Nexus tower, pops the slicing master, but no one has to get close enough to be locked up in it. Broken Blade will sacrifice his life for 2 towers and an inhibitor.
I think ultimately both teams are pretty happy about this. Like, BDS gets 2 inhibs, G2 gets 1 inhib and a Nexus tower, but I also think the way G2 has played for the last 10 minutes or so has really showed what makes them such a special team in Europe. Like, any team can push them in the early and the mid game, but eventually they're just so good at playing as a unit. Like, they always set up fights where Caps and had...
It's crazy that G2 is almost winning this one. They also got the Cloud Soul too, which would be fucking so good for Kennen.
BDS is a little bit more disorganized.
I mean, the big thing for G2 now is you've got 20 seconds without Broken Blade. And BDS realizes they're just going to try and push through mid. The Baron has fallen off. You have
Thing is, when he revives, they're going to actually have the TP, so they can't over push this because the threat of flank is too crazy.
It is too good from G2, from Caps specifically in this moment. And now BDS just have to back away. They've got super minions pushing in bot side. They have a 4.5 item AD carry. In fact, they've got 2 of them, although Nuke is lacking that extra half.
Now we're in a game state where all of a sudden the game is pretty much back to even. Most carries are finishing up their 4th, if not their 5th item at this point if you have Varus and you have pretty cheap items to purchase. Ice just got his 5th as well. So now, with 2 minutes left on the Baron, BDS can continue farming out bot, G2 can continue to catch up further by farming super minions in mid and top. And it all comes down to the Baron control. The chances of somebody being able to end now before Baron spawns is very low. It's the only thing that matters. Get a favorable position for Baron. Make sure that you're 1 step ahead. Ideally for G2 again. Kennen, find a flank, then you're good to go.
For G2, it really feels that a lot rests on Broken Blade finding a good flank, finding a good position. And
I mean, look at the gold. The hamster is 5,000 gold up. He's a big boy right now.
He's Flame Horizoned as well. 136 CS ahead for Broken Blade. And the rest of the map relatively even, 50 CS here or there. Who's counting? But Broken Blade in a very strong
I mean, how does Carmine Corp already have 2 wins? Well, arguably they shouldn't have won both those games, and also they upgraded players. Like, Seiken was a massive liability, and I don't think Kana's good, but he actually did save the game on Gragas.
The last couple of fights, BDS have struggled to really...
I mean, they don't look good, guys. But all of LEC looks bad, but it'd be hard to do worse than they did.
They're really just playing a traditional front-to-back team.
Especially when making 2 upgrades.
Oh, that was a great buster shot.
Oh, wow.
Steps back into the stun, but the stopwatch from Broken Blade will only buy him a second. That was very well executed.
Huge play. Now they can Baron.
Jumps in, baits the slicing maelstrom, Buster shots him out, flashes away from the flash chase. That was really good by Nuke.
Well, this is going to make it a lot easier to set up the front to back because Kennen has no flash. He's gone for another 45 seconds, and if they go Baron immediately, it's going to be hard for G2 to respond. Now, all they have to do...
Really well played by Nuke there.
And Jinx. Any fight you take, no matter what zone it's in, as long as those 2 can hit...
I mean, there's no rocket belt on this Kennen, so it makes it a lot harder to fall. I don't understand why he doesn't have rocket belt.
You're going to be okay. Those 2 are going to shred anyone who's in front of them.
Baron has been started by BDS. Double AD carries on it now, and that is going to melt. G2 not contesting. There's the Baron. BDS get it. 40 7 seconds on the Elder, and as much as Baron is a great buff to have, Elder ends games. If you take a fight around it and you lose the flip, you lose the game 9 times out of 10.
So now G2 is going to have to determine whether they're willing to risk the game for a soul fight, really, for a Cloud Soul.
Oh, it's not even Elder, it's Soul.
It's not Elder, it's Soul.
No, I was wondering what Medic was talking about. I mean, you're right. I mean, nothing he said was wrong. It's just not applicable to this situation.
Same thing.
Yeah, same difference. Anyway,
close enough.
Elder does end games, but it won't end this game yet.
Maybe,
Cloud Soul.
I mean, we're 41 minutes in, might as well grab another 10 minutes, right?
Sure. It's been a fun game, you know? Not as many kills as I'd like, but still right on the edge of my seat. The Cloud Soul.
Yeah, KC is a new team, guys. They're majority new players. So, I mean, we can't really treat them like they just have the same bot lane.
The Drake already taken by BDS as G2 try and get in position. The Weavers will separate them, and Mickey's on the wrong side of him. A great route with the Chain of Corruption means that Sheo has to pop the stopwatch bailout coming out as well, and Sheo will flash away from it. Nuke dodges away from the hostile takeover. Sheo parts up towards this top side. Now BDS.
Jinx with the Cloud Soul is just terrifying, right? Because she can just ult at the start of the fight, get a kill, and get excited. So annoying. She's like permanent ultra speed.
Crushing Morb is dodged and the tower melts like butter as BDS continue to push forward.
I don't know why we have Shield Bow and GA on this Jinx. Like, that seems unnecessary. Shouldn't we have a Phantom Dancer instead of one of those items? Probably the GA.
Gets excited, starts to step forward, steps away from the handshake. BDS get another inhib. Ice will get a little bit more excited as now the Nexus tower is the target. You can see the Bolt Breaker charged up by Yike. Another turret will fall. It's the Nexus, the first one to go down. The second, though, as Ice just dances around. Explosive cast coming out as Caps has to pop the stopwatch. He tries to flash in. The slicing mouse gets on the backline, but you can get with the
Thank you for sharing cooking stream setup with the FM Mini Pro. Why Shark is suffering? I mean, I can do a better. I can show you better when I actually do it and have it all set up.
As BDS continue to push forward, there's the redemption to heal up. G2 don't have the time to get back to the fountain and rejuvenate those health bars. The mid lane inhibitor, the first target for BDS. They'll get it. Ice gets excited, starts to step forward.
G2 has almost come back in 2 of these games, but I mean, Ice. The thing is, the peel for Ice was just too good this game.
You can see the Bolt Breaker charged up by Yike. Another turret will fall. It's the Nexus, the first one to go down. The second, though, as Ice just dances around.
Nice cast. Adam's Gragas team fighting has been, like I said, pretty good this year. It was just his laning was a little janky on it earlier in the split, but his team fighting was pretty good always. Yeah, I mean, I think the shield bow is like good, like it provides value in that situation, but I think he probably could have just not had the GA.
So many cool team fights where both teams really showed how great they are at this video game, and ultimately G2 had some chances of coming back. They were close here and there, but BDS, that one play in bot lane, the outplay from Nuke, really sealed the deal.
Also, I think it's weird he didn't build Rocket Belt onto Kennen in that situation, because the thing is, you have to have more tools to get on top of the Jinx. Like, basically, as long as the 2 flashes were synced, so as long as Jinx and Kennen's flashes were synced, it was very hard to get him onto the Jinx in the back line. So a little bit weird. Are there any other halfway decent LEC games today that are worth reviewing on stream? Don't say Rogue Carmine Corp. We're not doing that one. All right, maybe we'll do SK.
Coming through is GX versus SK is our second game, and we go into another patch.
Giant X are playing through mid lane with Jackies. putting every single resource into him. And SK Gaming, they're playing really through bot lane with Varus Ashe lanes, as well as Kalista Renata. So it's going to be mid lane versus bot lane. That's where you keep your eyes on.
I mean, again, I think this bot lane for SK has just been brilliant on that. I know we'll talk more about it as Ashe taken away from Luon. A worthy takeaway. Even though the arrows weren't landing on day one, I feel like still that guy needs to be given respect. Skarner on blue side, not something you see every day, but still seeing it as core.
All right, I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick, guys. Be back. Did I get a new chair? I mean, I did. I'm not in the U.S. This is this chair I've had in Korea. It's my wife's old office chair. Or was at her parents' house. My chair is in storage in America.
Corki has been left open.
Corki Rumble trade maybe? I think Irrelevant absolutely loves Rumble, so pick your poison. I think I'd rather take away Rumble away because Rumble...
Poor Juhan from qualifying to Worlds on DRX and therefore actually being one of the core people that helped them win. Because remember, guys, you all love Pioshik, but Pioshik was playing so badly that Juhan had to come in on DRX during the qualifier run, during the gauntlet, in order to even get DRX for Worlds.
And now you give Corki over to Rahel and Luan, and Corki is an incredible lane bully at the moment. I expect them to pick it up.
But the Antonio's had criticism so far, as Corki's just going to be ignored. We can talk more about his champion.
All right, so first time I've actually seen Rumble not banned in LEC.
Now we're going to see how the Koreans do it, because I know in LPL and LCK there's a very different beast. LEC and LCS has been criticized for Lucian Nami bots all year long. We now get to see if this new duo of SK Gaming can prove us hell wrong.
Absolutely. I mean, you already see they're trying to bring up Snap Engage, as well as, you know, the ability to one-shot and punish Lucian when he dashes forward. So already dropping bot lane for Giant X. What can Patrick and Ignar pick into the Lucian that isn't going to be pinched in the second rotation?
It's a big question, isn't it? Jackie's on the LeBlanc, though, is kind of exciting as Cassante. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, that champion still exists. As I have to say, Jackie's on something like LeBlanc that can really pop off with the Vi jungle. Aragon, this is exciting, considering Jackie's so far, 2 days in a row, has had a really strong
huge mid lane to counter and round out the entire kitchen. Quay others this game.
Roaming as well for Giant X, which feels like that trifecta of.
All right, so we're actually just taking Ignar playing his classic, the Rakan. So like very big dive composition, huge amount of backline threat with Rumble ult, Vi ult, the Rakan, clean up from the Zeri, flanks from LeBlanc.
Painting today. Champ, just less rage.
Much more like, you know, normal front to back team fighting from SK in this one.
Back and on the other side, I mean, for Giant X, replacement of to see. So that don't roll a nice start again, but again this year.
It's interesting that players are still playing Rumble with teleport. That must mean that lane swaps are still pretty common, because otherwise we'd probably be seeing back more Rumble with Ignite. But that you couldn't do that really at MSI, because if you tried to play Ignite, you would just get lane swapped on potentially and then lose the game.
When you really take over. Now for SK's Jackie just pops his head over the wall. They're going to go for this invade. They also spot out that Ignar and Patrick are down here, but they're going to continue on because jungle camps are now.
And they probably suspect that it might be a lane swap situation, because a lot of times you want to lane swap the Lucian and Nami till they hit level 3.
Jackie's is coming in to flash away from Luon. They're still thinking about it, even with Jackie's hovering, but the Ignite is
okay, we're just committing suicide for no reason. All right.
Juhan walks out. I believe they're here, but they're going to continue on because
like, why are we continuing to invade when we know they are all there? We know everybody's there.
That I've heard constant analysts say. That's when you really take over. Now for SK,
and it's a 4 versus 3 because all you have is an Azir who makes sand soldiers in the mid lane.
But they're going to continue on because jungle camps are now spawned and Juhan is zoned out a little bit as SK might have to think about this a little bit more. Jackie's is coming in to flash away from Luon. They're still thinking about it, even with Jackie's hovering, but the Ignite as it goes down, Isma tries to get his
That's
way.
wild.
He doesn't. Juhan walks
What was the point of that?
I believe there was some at least experience taken yet, 2 of them. But to die for that for first blood, that's going to be a big start for Patrick.
So I think the thought process here was that Vi.
I mean, Isma did get the big. He got the big chicken.
Ignite as it goes down, Isma tries to get his way. He doesn't.
But you don't get level 2 off of just getting the big chicken.
I believe there was some at least experience taken yet, 2 of them.
That looks like a fucking solo queue game, guys.
That's going to be a big start for Patrick.
So I think the thought process here was that Vi notoriously has one of the worst level 1s in the game.
Yes, but it's a 4 versus 3.
But it's 3 versus 4 because Niski is zoned out getting chunked by.
He's also a level 1 Azir. He can't do anything.
Yeah, that knockup comes in from Ignar. It's just over.
Dude, level 1 Azir is such a turd too. Like, level 1 Vi is a turd, but level 1 Azir is also a turd. Turd wars.
Recovering from his own. He's doing red. It looks like the health bar was that low and it was that slow that Isma and Juhan eventually get.
This does fuck Vi pretty badly, though.
Sejuani as a champion can do more. Like, Sejuani as a champion before Vi gets to level 6 can do more. So if there are good enough trades down bot side, there is always potential for a dive as well, depending on how well Rahel and Luon trade.
You and I with names at the moment. Yeah. I'm saying Joe.
Rahul.
Bro, we'll get there eventually.
Oh, I'm implementing your cooking stream status for TCG broadcastings. Ah, that's right. Yeah, I can help you with that. I'll talk to you a little bit about that when I'm done with the stream.
Antonio, who's pushing up quite heavily. Remember as well, a lot of setup there with Irrelevant and top Cassante.
Three camp up top side. Yeah, they've got the melee plus Sejuani set up.
Boy.
I'll bore you guys with some technical talk about audio-visual equipment. But yes, this will work. My setup will also work very well for TCG or board games. The Big Grogu. Thank you for your Twitch Prime sub. I appreciate you.
But once the Kanik Raccoon gets built by Irrelevant, it sort of swings into a bit of a stalemate. Outside of that, though, that's why I was really hyped for that kill, because that's like really the only time that Rumble can die with this setup. But outside of that, yeah, it looks like still looking for a play potentially down bot side. The chunk comes through onto Giant X. Bubble misses though, and I think Sejuani's just going to have to go back and farm.
We now take a step back, because while we're focusing on top and that potential gank, we're also looking at Jackie's and Niski kind of fighting it out. I think it was a turret dive, or at least a push in with Distortion, where Jackie's took a turret shot that almost cost him his life. Niski has to teleport back to lane in the end, and Jackie's looks like he could walk to it, so bit of a summoner advantage for now as Niski looks for the shot.
Isma has been walking around for a little while now. He tried to invade the second rotation race, but he doesn't have mid-prio. The TP comes in a little bit late from the Azir, so he's going to have to go back and clear. He's really far behind, while Zvi is already on his second clear.
And as you said, it's all about Juhan getting to the level 6 as well, so the fact that Juhan has got a bit of a speed lead makes it really good. He's cleared most of his camps apart from the Gromp on the top side. And Isma is a little bit behind as a reset finally comes through with the longsword and Ruby Health Crystal. So Juhan recovers a little bit from what was lost in the early game. And I have to say, Giant X, the early game so far is looking pretty good. Not just the first blood that went to Patrick, which he hasn't spent the gold on, by the way, but just gold throughout, through these winning lanes so far, that is painting the scoreboard blue.
Yeah. I mean, Jackie's is about to beat Niski in lane twice without having to teleport back in. So Niski no teleport, Jackie's still has teleport. So even health trades are winning for Jackie's, because he can always teleport back and bail himself out. So level 6 almost there for the Vi eventually. Around 7 minutes, that's when Vi hits. And most junglers hit level 6.
Okay.
So expect plays then, especially in the mid lane.
I think as well for Jackie's, I mean, we've kind of seen a lot of LeBlanc matchups, and kind of assumed that Azir a lot of the time, unless he can outrange something that's melee, suffers a little bit here, Aragon. Esma always here to help a hand. It looks like as Jackie's distorts in, Niski tries to shifting sands his own, and at least to get the clone out, but not too much done as Ignite comes at the bottom side, and Rahel is in front of the play. Patrick flashes away. Here to help a hand. It looks like as Jackie's distorts in, Niski tries to shifting sands his own, and at least to get the
the level 6 is going to be coming later this game though, because the junglers were disrupted, both of them early.
Patrick flashes away. Luon and Rahel do it again. Summon is used, but they're going to get control of this wave.
Yeah, no junglers around to capitalize. I think Dragon's just going to go down to Juhan and not going to come down to try and punish with the gank, but that wave state's really nice. For SK, it's pushing into their lane, and it's really not going to be a great trade for Patrick. Now, that looks like a dead Zeri on my screen.
Oh, it does indeed. Does it look like a dead Niski to you as well? Here he is, the Antonio making the gank known. First blood.
And it's really not going to be a great trade for Patrick. Now, that looks like a dead Zeri on my screen.
Oh, it does indeed. Does it look like a dead Niski to you as well? Here he is, the Antonio making the gank known. First blood going to be given over, and it's the Antonio.
Patrick, now that...
Nice roam off of the pressure you create with Rumble on the top side.
Try and punish with the gank, but that wave state's really nice. For SK, it's pushing into their lane, and it's really not going to be a great trade for Patrick. Now, that looks like a dead Zeri on my screen.
Oh, it does indeed. Does it look like a dead Niski to you as well? Here he is, the Antonio making the gank known. First blood going to be given over, and it's the Antonio who picks it up. Excuse me, second, of course. But a second kill over to Giant X.
And it's just from...
It's pretty nice that you can make that play while you take Drake as well, because he's going to be there in case they make any kind of play at Drake, and he has ult up also.
You must have so much gold.
It's a really nice roam from top.
From the Antonio, for a player that's been criticized for his first couple of days, a play like that, as we look at the replay itself.
Really nice W forward into baiting out the wall and then taking it back so he doesn't get clipped.
Clean.
The Antonio taking full advantage of the fact that Rumble gets prior into everyone and using it to roam down. Really nice timer on that play.
And also giving a bit of gold to the Rumble that was already going to have success in the lane that we talked about as well. So feels like free real estate up there for the Antonio as he teleports back to the top lane and continues to push on in, giving access for Juhan to take the ever-so-loved grubs that you keep hyping up.
Prior mid-top with that LeBlanc and that Rumble winning lane, going to secure these grubs over. Now, no cross-map play for SK either, because Ignar is not needed on those grubs because the lanes are winning so hard. He's going to be able to shadow any play down bot side, and Isma, he's not going to be able to do anything in response.
Just Arctic Assault's out of there before he gets caught out. And just quickly note, again, what you said, Rahel and Luon had the wave in a good state. Looks like the bounce back came through, and there is a small CS lead here for Rahel. But, you know, Dragon was taken by Giant X as well. 3 grubs for Giant X. Let's not forget it's a 1k gold lead as well. Rahel and
While cross-mapping both objectives simultaneously.
More punishing because Giant X's map state right now is snowballing solo lanes is in such a good spot.
Yeah, I'm potentially looking at a play from Giant X where Vi passed down to bot side, has Vi ultimate and Rakan ultimate to work with, and that's a lot of chain CC onto a flashless Rahel. He's level 6, so Giant X can't afford to get chunked out before that play potentially happens. That is what I have my eyes on.
Double distortion comes through. Let's pause. Changes the connect, and Niski is going to dodge away from the majority of the damage, but still hurts quite a lot as Jackie's continues showing up this. Another good laning phase. Yeah. Like, the development of this player of Giant X, it's worth putting your faith in.
I mean, it just does.
Good night, the big Gragu. Appreciate your subscription. Have a lovely evening.
Drafting for him, everything goes Jackie's favorite, bans for him, and his specific carries. So
it's great to see. Honestly, and you know, with the 10 CS leaders, the wave shoves in here as well. Yep. He's going to continue holding the lead and start hovering down. Yeah,
there's the Vi level 6 we talked about. The full clear into bot side. Now there is a ward. They might spot out the LeBlanc. They're going to clear it beforehand, so...
I think there's another ward. You look at the control ward behind. So they see that Jackie's is roaming down and the MIA is there. Rahel still going in for the heavy trade as the 2v2. Might be concreted by Juhan, making an unfair advantage, and you can see he's still moving down.
Yeah, slow stack and a ward here as well, so they're not going to be able to walk through and lane gank, but Luon...
Jackie's, oi, oi, oi. Bit of damage comes through. Luon has to sustain, but doesn't get burst out fully. But you can see Jackie's, doesn't matter if he's spotted out on a ward, the die's still going to try and come through.
Yeah, that mid to bot prio is doing a lot of work from really Jackie's. Unfortunately, not going to be able to find a dive. That ward in the lane. So much vision coverage for the side of SK. Means that even with the chunk and Isma coming down to potentially shadow it, no play's going to come out. Still really looking at that mid game for SK to become online.
To when the next one spawns, but Juhan in the meanwhile is getting busy top looking for...
Interesting, the Dragon and Grubs timers were synced because of when they were taken.
I think 6 Grubs is going to be absolutely massive for Giant X, spawning in a minute's time. They have Zeri down bot side, and Zeri does have tier 2 boots, so she can join the fight if she wants to with her ability to...
Going to be whether Rahel can match for the first item and whether they make that back that we see all bottom laners make to contest for either first or second Grub rotation. And Rahel should have control this wave by
now, so maybe they're looking at a cross map instead of contesting these Grubs, trying to find some sort of dive with the Lucian down bot and giving up those 6 Grubs, but Isma...
He's going to turn this into engage actually as well, embraces the chains as he goes golden at least with the ultimate coming through. There's a return.
Lucian down bot and giving up those 6 Grubs, but
dude, how many times we're gonna die on these for these chickens this game?
To engage actually as well, embraces the chains as he goes golden at least with the ultimate coming through. There's a return from Juhan. Isma dies. Niski doesn't have enough damage. It's an Azir in the early game with Mercs and a recurve bow.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he just has Merc treads and attack speed. Like, what is he gonna do? He gets like a couple sand soldiers and a choke point, but it doesn't do a whole lot at this point in time.
There's a return from Juhan. Isma dies. Niski doesn't have enough damage. It's an Azir in the early game with Mercs and a recurve bow. He gets charmed up, and Luon's ulti at max range won't hit Juhan anyway. Jackie's hit from
there you go. Get Rahel in there. He's got a BF sword.
The damage that SK needed. He comes in, picks up one, and makes it an even trade, but it took a while to get there.
An even trade to potentially equalize those out as well.
But I mean, can Isma have, or will Isma have the firepower? I guess my question is, Juhan still hovers towards mid. Niski trying to use a bit of his range now as well. Denying the 6 Grubs that you talked about being big for Giant X here, as Jackie's and Juhan have to reset.
Lots of attention coming down as we go into this replay. Pinks were coming down into those Grubs, but look at this setup. The chain is just unavoidable, and Juhan holds the ultimate for after he gets CC'd so he can ult back in, and that way they can one-shot with the distortion there as well. Niski, like you said, just a tank. The chain is just unavoidable, and Juhan holds...
The chain is unavoidable? Doesn't he have flash?
On that wave down bot side that's crashing now, so maybe they're looking at a cross map instead of
golden at least with the...
I mean, Isma has flash.
With the Lucian down bot and giving up those 6 Grubs, but Isma...
He's going to turn this into engage actually as well.
I mean, he turns around onto the engage. He could have flashed the chain again as well. Like, Isma just doesn't flash any of the abilities.
It's an Azir in the early game with Mercs and a recurve bow. He gets charmed up and Luon's
maybe they were calling for the rotation from the bot side, but it definitely feels like that could have been played better.
Now that as Jackie's and Juhan have to reset.
Lots of attention coming down as we go into this replay. Pinks were coming down into those Grubs, but look at this setup. The chain is just unavoidable, and Juhan holds
the chain is unavoidable except for that flash ability that you have.
And that way they can one-shot with the
what are thoughts on LPL's Fearless? Would I call it successful? I think it's good at creating hype in what would otherwise be a pretty boring phase of mostly good teams beating up bad teams in the groups. So I like it that it's implemented right at the beginning. But once we separate out the top teams, like the top 9 teams, we probably won't need it. Those games will be exciting enough on their own. So I like its limited application in LPL.
3 apiece now. I think you were saying this morning it's rare to see that as Gianx are going to teleport down bot. But this is for the Antonio to try and find something with a wave pushing in.
This should be a dead irrelevant on my screen. He can get dove and read over if he wants to.
Lightning charge from Patrick at least helps out. The all out there to buy space, but the Antonio flashes away before he takes an extra turret shot, picks up a second kill. Dive successful. Niski now looks for the 1v1, but again, Azir only with an extra blasting one this time in the trade. As we have to question what SK can get the top side because Gianx is starting to pick up a lot of gold.
The tower trading tools are going to be fairly even. Both teams have 3 grubs, so the speed at which they take the turrets is going to be the same. Now, remember, First Blood turret matters a lot more at the moment since the buffs. So whoever can get them first, you can see Giantex are not happy with this trade. They're sending up the Antonio to defend this turret and not give him a First Blood turret and equalize the plates on both bot and top.
So 2 apiece on both that top and bottom turret as well. Note that the gold went over to Rahel solo, so he's already got an Essence Reaver picked up from the last base and a Cloak of Agility. He's about 400 gold up in the matchup as well. Azil also adds that into the mix. It's a very strong Lucian. And as Aragon, you're alluding to before, you know exactly where this Lucian Nami going to go, sit mid and start pushing waves.
Yeah, more hits onto bot towers should be the case for Jackies here. Always keep your eyes when the teams have grubs. Slow rotations from Niski and not utilizing the portals and sending Lucian down bot side means that they get another plate down bot. So one step closer to cracking that really important First Blood turret.
He's big again. Luden's companion with the Dark Seal as well, so some stacks to keep in mind as Rahel is exactly where you want him to be. Cullen going to come through and maximizing the return on investment too. Again with Culling as well, it's just so much gold in your back pocket. Just pushes him out and Gianx get their wave shoved in again.
I'd like to see plays down to bot side for Giantex. I think that Jackies with the setup can make plays onto this so easily that they can threaten this First Blood turret if they want to. But instead it looks like it's going to be moving up towards Rift Herald Prio instead. Pink's going to be down.
I feel like you get a fight out of it, right? I mean, Rahel's walking up, Isma walking up as well. Ulti not in hand for Rahel as he used it previously to push mid.
Yeah, teleport up for LeBlanc if he wants to join the fight. This could be a full-blown 5v5. And this is important. This could crack open First Blood turret.
It really could.
C9 just released content of JoJo losing to Showmaker and Type Racer in English. How is that possible? Dude, the Zoomers don't know anything about computers. I'm serious, guys. They can't build a computer. They can't troubleshoot a computer. They don't know how to type anymore. What the fuck, man?
It really could, couldn't it? I mean, I'm saying the Antonio because he's got his ult and he's level 11 here. Irrelevant as he walks up with his ulti in.
Like, when I was a teenager, I could troubleshoot the shit out of computers because I didn't have any internet to help me do it. You know what I mean?
It really could, couldn't it? I mean, I'm saying the Antonio because he's got his ult and he's level 11 here. Irrelevant as he walks up with his ulti in hand, won't have the same impact, and Smite secures the Herald as they look for the charge. A one-man ulti gets knocked up. Juhan in return finds one, but a lot burned here from SK. Now to try and deny.
Nice job at Jackies to pick that up, actually.
Flashes distorts, yoinks the eye, and for Gianx the trade might be worth it.
Giantex finding the Rift Herald. What happened there was...
How do you lose to a Korean typing in English? That is crazy.
He teleported in to complete his item. That means they lose the fight, but secure the Herald, fortunately.
So again, we'll have to see how it gets.
I built one end of last year for the first time forever. It's easier than it's ever been. I know, dude. My PC that I brought to Korea that I've been using forever is basically just the ship of Theseus. I don't think it has any original parts from when it was built. I've just been replacing them one by one slowly. And every time I run out of space, I just add more hard drives. So it's just like this horrible Franken PC that has like 5 hard drives in it now.
And they also want Rift Herald. Nice from Jackies there.
It's really nice. I mean, again, first Turret Blood does go over to SK, so they catch up in gold a bit, but Jackies now trades in the side lane, and that enhanced recall added on into the mix. He's got a lot of tempo advantage here as blue buff is trying to be taken. Juhan going to steal that one away with Jackies also getting a blue buff in the mix as well, and now it's mid turret, it's top turret here for Gianx to take for the outer turret push. Again, that Herald to look at, that was heel burnt by Luon. Side lane, and that enhanced recall added on into the mix. He's got a lot of tempo advantage here as blue buff is trying to be taken. Juhan going to steal that one away with Jackies also getting a blue buff in the mix as well. And now it's mid turret, it's top turret here for Gianx to take for the outer turret push. Again, that Herald to look at, that was heel burnt by Luon. very scared of Jackies, rightfully so.
This is really where the Lucian comes online, right? You have a bunch of vision supporting the Lucian. You see that ward drop down just there on your screen. Really going to let Lucian dash forward because that's the counterplay to it. When he dashes forward, you punish him. So vision around mid lane is really, really important now to facilitate him dashing forward and playing like a psychopath.
That's what you want to see.
You really do. You just want an elk, don't you?
You do. I mean, again, one of the best, or I think just the best Lucian in the world we've kind of established with rapid fire cannon as well. Have fun being a Zeri is like a mid-range AD carry. Patrick is catching.
Yeah, I mean, this Lucian's going to be absolutely massive now. Huge power spike for him. At 2 items, the range he gets as well, the poke is going to be crazy. It's going to be really hard to actually deal with him in the front line.
And Leandris, as he groups up towards mid, there's a lot of damage on this Rumble with Herald charging in to help him out.
So this Herald going to secure them prio into the river as well as a charge onto mid lane turret. That could convert
nice bubble.
into third dragon here.
Oh, it converts into a fight instead. Ignar steps charging in to help him out.
So this Herald going to secure them prio into the river as well as a charge onto mid lane turret.
The excellent double bubble there
into third dragon here.
into tidal wave.
Ignar steps up, he's dead. What a bubble. The setup from Luan and the counterplay massive is flashing forward for Isma to get the flail out, and Jackie's the source luckily, but Giants have lost a member again, and stepping forward, Juhan is caught out.
Oh, even after the flash too.
Counterplay massive is flashing forward for Isma to get the flail out, and Jackie's the source luckily, but Giants have lost a member again, and stepping forward, Juhan is caught out. He flashes but gets shuffled all the same. Niski is as smooth as you'd like, and the equalizer coming out later. It does great damage, but the fight's already done, and Giant X with a big whoopsie.
Denied.
Once again, away from there, and
what Giant X to do is to make, like, enter this top.
Ever since I have been distanced from it. Mid turret opens up as well. Giant X back towards about 1,000 for now. Antonio, all timing is great. Niski gets flashed on and solo kill. Okay, Antonio, I see you. I see you, man. That's his third kill and a much better looking game.
Yeah, much better looking game. This is what he does when he's not in a soft losing matchup like the Ornn into the Renekton. He takes a winning matchup and he forces it. He finds a solo kill on Niski. Really solid stuff.
Should rapid fire cannon be removed, reworked? Chance. Look, man, it's at the same time it's kind of necessary, right? Because I think a lot of champions just wouldn't even be viable without RFC in the game.
You have to pay homage to the OG, you know.
That's true.
So, and I do think it creates interesting, like, I don't think it's necessarily a toxic item because there's counterplay to it, right? Like, you know, having the Vial is good in dilution. Having Nautilus ult is good in dilution. You know, Twisted Fate is good in dilution because you can gold card him, right? Targeted abilities, it just changes the way people draft. And it does create discrete timing windows. Like, I think it is skill-based both individually and as a team. I don't hate it.
Not working out against SK. See if they can do it against BDS. Now for SK, you already mentioned Niski's struggling, or at least you'd think he would, up in this side lane, but for now SK as they group and leave Niski to just push waves. They're trying to use this pushing power from their own grubs to get something mid, but stepping up, again, it's not like we have massive range without Niski here, Aragon. And SK are zoned away, wave cleared once again.
Wave cleared every single time. The static shift going to help out with that. Still not 2 items completed for the Zeri though, so they're in sort of discrepancy in terms of items. I don't want them to commit to a sort of fight. I need them to keep side laning until the item parity gets a bit closer.
Bit of an X-Smithy there as Juhan comes in for the flank, but it's only onto Irrelevant. No one else showing there.
I don't want them to commit to a sort of fight. I need them to keep side laning until the item parity gets a bit closer.
Bit of an X-Smithy there as Juhan comes in for the flank, but it's only onto Irrelevant. No one else showing their head. Isma's ulti's down now though. Giant X have a bit of an advantage as 5 members move through mid. No dragon up here on the bottom side of the map, and remember, it's just Baron sitting there, so SK on the right side for now. Culling gonna come through, Juhan interrupts it though, equalizer, lay it down perfectly. Patrick, ulti's over the side, Luan zones him out though, and Irrelevant. Remember, it's just Baron sitting there, so SK.
And the chunks that they're taking from culling is crazy. So they go in and they try and get on top of him, right?
Baron sitting there, so SK on the right side for now. Culling gonna come through, Juhan.
They try and get onto Rahel, but Rahel still has flash up, so he's able just to flash right after his excellent bubble there, by the way. They get a double bubble right here in the middle of everything.
Ulti's over the side, Luan zones him out though, and Irrelevant hasn't died yet as Patrick has to flash on out of there. No kill
It's a good equalizer, but I mean the initial chip damage is just so huge, and they think this is the time because he's going forward, and they're not wrong. I mean, this is where you want to try and punish it, but there's not enough follow-up, and the flash is still there, and the double bubble actually huge.
No kill has been achieved apart from Juhan dropping on down. SK sit as 5 and has loans him out. Bottom side of the map, and remember, it's just Baron sitting there, so SK.
Like, Ignar also just has to go in. You know what I mean? Like, he also, Ignar also doesn't follow up the CC, right? He's charmed, he flashes in, but he never actually hits Rahel with the charm because the cease and desist ends, the Viol ends, and then he's able to just hammer flash until he gets out of that situation. So the coordination not quite up to par. They don't chain the CC.
No kill has been achieved apart from Juhan dropping on down. SK sit as 5 and as low as it is, they still.
I agree, Meller. Ignar was a little bit behind the play there.
Thinking that it'll make up for the Zeri discrepancy in items.
You know, it's weird if they want to play this composition, which is like all about backline dive. They don't actually backline dive. Like, when this moment happens, you have to be ready with everybody for equalizer, and the equalizer comes in, right? If he gets locked down there, he probably dies. But everybody has to be on the same page for the backline damage.
So there's no cleanup crew afterwards, and the Antonio's used everything at this point.
Sorry, you said the gas. So Patrick needed more gas.
Yes, he needs more gas. He just comes out from the Viol. Yeah, right. So the win con here is to layer absolutely every single spell on the Lucian.
Yeah, he gets hit by the tidal wave directly into the bubble.
But Patrick doesn't have the gas to clean up after the initial burst comes out from the Vi ultimate and the Rakan ultimate. So
that was very close to a GX1 team fight, though.
And the Antonio's used everything at this point.
Sorry, you said the gas. So Patrick needed more gas.
Yes, he needs more gas. He needs that Infinity Edge. He's got it now. So any kind of team fight now might do a bit more work, but you really should have cross-mapped that instead of taking that fight.
I definitely see the gas, okay. You're finally matching.
I don't know. It was really, really close, I think.
Pretty shortly, anyway. You can see BF sword pickaxe in inventory. I'm looking elsewhere once again. I see two.
Still a chance. I mean, this is still a very winnable game for Giant X. Like, not only do they have a gold lead, but they have a chance to get Soul Point right now. And Hexexel is absolutely terrifying on them with their backline access. And the Zeri, basically, the Zeri can clean up any team fight.
It's set up time because SK right now is a control mid. Want to keep using this Lucian to try and set themselves up. For the
KTP in from the side.
TP, yeah, they do indeed. Niski spots him. The Antonio came in a bit early. He equalizes. Juhan trying to recover as well, but Rahel still isn't there.
Oh my god.
They see him.
TP, yeah,
He can Ignar can never get into these fights. Terrible TP. Look at Ignar. He's trying to get in again to the fight, but he actually just gets ulted out by Irrelevant before he can do anything. Flash in. So he gets in range of Permafrost. Q after. Oh, so close. Man, what a terrible TP, though.
It took so long to complete.
They finally find the play onto the Lucian, one-shotting him, but then they have absolutely nothing left for the rest of the team. Niski finds the shuffle, but actually shuffles the Antonio into the Lucian, kind of killing him, layering that damage on top of the Viol. Regardless, though, Dragon going to be over to SK, and another winning fight. You just feel like SK in this mid-game are getting the better of him. Take a look at this. The Antonio gets pushed in.
I mean, it's not a good TP, and Luan does a good job of delaying this, but look at Ignar right here. Like, he's trying his best, but remember, he doesn't have flash, and he gets in there, but then he immediately gets pushed out. So Ignar has basically been able to do nothing this game.
Making it very hard to play. I mean, Niski has been pretty clean with some of the shuffles this game, I must say. On his Azir, once again, it is a treat, it is a delight, and at 5-2-2.
Target selection has been good, though, from SK.
I think the problem is they have to one-shot a target, right? We've seen a couple of these Vi comps today with the LeBlancs. You have to really one-shot the target, but they have Locket and Knight's Vow for the Lucian. Whoever the dashes on the Lucian gets so much damage mitigated that our win con really kind of expires. And now the Zhonya's for Zia makes that job even harder.
I mean, I feel like again, you know, Jackie's has been trying. You know, we've seen certain plays that have come through, some nice plays with the Herald, but for Giant X, are they starting to run out of options? It's weird to say when they have a gold advantage, but as we keep watching some of these plays, we're starting to realize that, okay, SK's comp, as Isma just threatens away, is starting to come online. The front to back we talked about, the Azir items, and Rahel was already strong after the early game.
I think GX do have a win con until Kaynit Rukun is completed by Cassante, in which case then he doesn't need to trade his HP bar to hold the side lane. Until then, the side lane is going to be winning for Jackies. He does beat both the Azir and the Cassante at this point, and using that, he can hit the tier 2 turrets inside. That's the win con for now.
For a while. No dragon for a while means all attention turns up towards the north. Niski ulti. Yep. Setup is coming forward towards this Baron. Remember, that's been sitting there watching us for a while. No dragon for a while means all attention turns up to...
Niski has completed Zonia, so he can actually make this play when they see it. Jesus, no flash.
Remember, that's been sitting there watching us for a while. No dragon for a while means all attention turns up towards the north. Niski ultis up, and it's Patrick caught out. Only the tip of the soldiers is all it takes.
Yeah, the shuffles are
it's just free because you can actually just make those plays once you have the Zonias.
Have been absolutely fantastic. Now they have a lot of Baron DPS. Niski does have 2 enough items. They have double crit, double attack speed item as well.
Teleport to bring him in. I mean, you can see Jack is all opening an SK exploit.
Maybe if he can complete the death cap for the...
And a Rabadons for Niski and Rahel, 2 massive items that sit firmly in their inventories, and I think for SK, this could be a very punishing Baron. Aragon, you're about to tell me how they defend it on the side of GX.
Yep. So what usually happens is you just give up absolutely everything. The tier 2s, maybe a tier 3 as well, and you just cross map for 1 tier 2 up top side with Jackies here. You can see that's already what they're setting up to do. But they defend the tier 3s as much as possible. They could even drop Equalizer down on the wave to defend it as well. But you just give up.
Yeah, you have to drop Equalizer.
And try to trade something.
Try again, get that nuke down from Jackies as he plays the side lane for now. Kind of going along the lines of what you said. At least potentially trading the inner turret, but Niski setting up for the turret on the bottom side as inner through mid, inner now bot is going to follow through. Of course, it's a favorable trade for SK with the minion wave to help out here as well. And Luon,
I guess they're just saving Equalizer for what? This? Blanc has TP. Now they can pursue. Okay, this is a good call by Giant X.
So now if Jackies, and you can see Niski's chasing him to potentially cancel the TP as well. Jackies could have looked for a TP there to force.
That's good. Either way, you know, either you get the play there or you waste their Baron, right?
Yeah, really smart. As you said, that could have been a disaster.
Baron's timed out right now. They actually don't even get to use Empowered Recall.
One shot someone else. It could be Isma who gets hit hard as Juhan's angle. Aragon points it out because it is the sneaky peek, the sneaky setup. Isma keeps flashing Mad Lions logo for good reason as Ignar now in position as well, trying to bait it out. But he does show that there's someone in the brush using the battle dance. As also Niski taking up the portal. It's going to be spotted out. It's over.
But the long con flank is coming. They do have an Azir tower. This is not a good flank, I don't think. Unless they need the one-shot. Juhan, he can get turned on.
I mean, at least he's got flash available to try and make something happen. Giant X trying to wriggle into position as well around the dragon to stop the soul point coming through. Juhan not spotted out in the brush, but Isma's the one face checking. This Porky Pig.
All right.
The knockup comes through though from Ignar, but going golden, they buy some time. It's onto Irrelevant too. Happy to buy it out. The Equalizer and the choke is still good. Niski's ulti is not an over the wall. Antonio. Porky Pig doesn't care.
Antonio flashes over the wall here.
Golden, they buy some time. It's onto Irrelevant too. Happy to buy it out. The Equalizer and the choke is still good. Niski's ulti is not an over the wall.
Trying to finish that kill because he knows Niski. Oh, Niski gets over the wall.
It somehow works for Giant X, and Niski just has to get on out. Jackie's looking for the chasers.
All right, well, they did force out the Zonias super early, and now they force out the flash, too.
Irrelevant out for the pieces. Now Antonio comes through, but he's not even needed. Juhan cleans that kill up, and Dragon now exposed. Giant X, the resilience is there.
This is a better game than I thought it would be from Giant X.
It's not done, is it? It's really not done. Flashing Ignite still up to try and steal a Dragon. They won't succeed. Acro Prison not there either as Juhan is out of ulti. So the chase stops, and Soul Point acquired by Giant X. They are still in this game.
That was such a nice engage from Ignar, forcing out the Zonias, so then the Azir, after the Zonias is gone, could still be a target. Take a look at this. Ignar goes over the wall, finds it. Zonias gets popped by the Azir. Now what happens is he has no Zonias versus the engage, so Juhan can actually go on the Azir for once and drop the full engage on that. When before this, it would have just had to be onto Rahel.
Yeah.
So finding the first blood target with that initial burst, with the Vial and the Rumble combo.
Bro, the Rumble combo's sick. I mean, the Antonio's had a much better game. I need to say it again because I feel like it's very... Is he going to be caught out? Patrick's over the wall. Meanwhile, Jackies is playing with fire with Rahel. At half HP, it's a lot of damage.
There's the poke win condition we talked about. Nightstar was out of range, so the damage mitigation wasn't there. And you can see the burst that comes out from a LeBlanc with those W into Qs.
And I guess if we're getting a lot of bursts, we need to watch about things like Ignorance. The quickness gets popped up again. The ulti was burnt in that trade.
Same front line with the Sejuani and the Cassante, and the backline carries are so fed as well.
And let me quiz you a bit, because again, you talked about Jackie's earlier in the game nuking Rahel, but I think further to the composition, it now looks like, again, isolating a target or finding that quick pick, burning him down using the set burst, then opens up a variety of windows.
Flex the numbers advantage, they then lose if that doesn't work. So it's really on Giant X to be proactive, find these flanks, find these one-shots, and play around that Zhonya's that Niski has.
It's like such a harder comp to pull off, but for Giant X, they're doing it. They've brought this game back from the brink of despair. They've moved to Soul Point. They're now on Baron's side, and SK haven't broken the base apart from the mid lane. As they look to channel down mid, they get the push, and Giant X are hanging for an angle. Jackie's is in a big one as well. Prison not going to connect. Niski has himself a Banshees, but now that's gone too. And Giant X again playing for that set angle that has gotten them back into this spot.
It's so difficult to visit these flanks. You have Jackie's up top, you have the Antonio down bot side. They need to find a way to scout out the flanks and move in whilst covering those, but it's so incredibly difficult. You can see they just have to go as 5.
How do they find their first win for Giant X? It'd be such a feat after versing Fnatic, after versing Team Heretics, almost finding a recovery yesterday versus Fnatic especially. Now up against SK, Baron's here. They're clearing out vision though on the side of SK. And you can see through mid, the wave's pushed in and SK using that pressure.
Yeah, Giant X are on a timer here. They have to find the engage, otherwise they're going to bleed out that in here. But if they're happy with losing, then sure, but the engage has to come through, or a Baron Star has to come through Giant X.
SK backing away, they are spotted out for now. Jackie's goes in, double distortion damage, huge! Blinding as well, almost connects on Rahel. He's at half HP, but he has a Nami support. He heals up a little bit as well, thanks to the Bloodburst as the equalizer. Now burnt too. Isma has to run away a little bit, and are they thinking about starting the Baron? Giant X are throwing the spanner.
I'm so surprised that SK didn't take...
Jackie's does it. Look, burnt too. Isma has to...
Damn, that LeBlanc damage, though.
Are they thinking about starting the Baron? Giant X are throwing the spanner.
I'm so surprised that SK didn't take...
Jackie's does it. Luon's dead. Made me scream, wow. God, LeBlanc. What setup there? Numbers advantage now given out. And SK are walking...
Ignar on the flank, too.
Advantage. They could find the engage. Ignar is on the flank.
He's got flash as well. Aragon, he has flash, and Baron here might just be a bait, a ruse. Are they going to 50-50? Isma throws out the oldie Juhan, runs on in. Antonio shuffled away, but he goes Golden's quickness. Buys him a bit of time, but it's on to tanks. Antonio has to flash away. Niski's the damage dealer with Rahel. They're now playing in front to back. No! Giant runs on in. Antonio shuffled.
Ignar is on the flank.
He's got flash as well. Aragon, he has flash, and Baron here might just be a bait, a ruse. Are they going to 50-50? Isma throws out the oldie Juhan, runs on in.
Yeah, I don't really have a lot of tankiness for the Baron.
Buys him a bit of time, but it's on to tanks. Antonio has to flash away. Niski's the damage dealer with Rahel. They're now playing in front to back. No! Giant X, you're giving it to them. SK have been set up to walk only forward. Irrelevant, the tank. Niski, the absolute dank. And Jackie's needs to get...
Giant X, they can run rampant. Niski on the Azir, the Lucian as well, can do what they like. Just going to this replay. It's just so darn hard. Jackie's, look at the poke win gone like we talked about. Not even poke at that point, is it? It's just it's a flatten.
It's a sandwich, bro.
Yeah, they don't actually have a lot to work with here, though. They don't have Equalizer, and it's very difficult for them to tank out this Baron without taking a bazillion damage.
Isma, and they're like, okay, great, we have numbers advantage. The Antonio with the Zhonyas, they burst him down, but then you just don't have anything. That's the vial. That's everything in your comp.
Yes, indeed.
You have to kite out now, wait for cooldowns, but a nice engage comes in from Irrelevant.
SK been tested, but after that fight, you're starting to see how hard it is to kill certain members as they move to Soul Point as well. Jackie's once again trying to be a ninja. Over the wall!
Oh my!
After that fight, you're starting to see how hard it is to kill certain members as they move to Soul Point as well. Jackie's once again...
That's crazy. They almost just gave up Soul right here. Oh my god.
Oh my god!
That actually changes this whole game. Holy moly.
Jackie's is once again the hero of Giant X trying to do the unthinkable.
Absolutely. Almost stealing away that. And now we've got 3-3 in Drakes. That is so unbelievably close.
It is. It's a close game that could tilt either way. I mean, SK have an entrance into the base. Inner's still up and through mid and top as the ult flies through from SK. Aragon, look at Jackie's again, just getting in the face and trying to find out that very squishy member in Rahel, Luon, Niski. for the taking.
And it's all going to come down to execution. You could find the picks. It really depends on how well Niski and Rahel can play safe. As
Execution like this, Juhan walking in, Niski finds him, jungler down. I mean, is he going to? The tidal wave follows through, they need the damage eventually, they're finding the quickness there as well. The equalizer makes the play turn around. Niski goes golden to buy himself some time, but as the redemption comes through, he's still alive. Juhan had no business walking into this top side with Baron up and available.
They didn't want to concede, so they continued and committed, trying to make up for the...
Peach died for this, and for Juhan getting caught there, now Baron taken and SK in the driver's seat is an understatement.
But these Niski shuffles, they keep connecting onto Juhan. They keep really connecting onto everyone. It's Niski. Trick is out.
Upside. Equalizer.
Niski and Rahel can play safe. As
Juhan like this, Juhan walking in. Niski finds. Remember in Rahel, Luon, Niski for the taking.
And it's all going to come down to execution. You could find the picks. It really depends on how...
I mean, they have to do something, right? They have to start getting vision control, and Juhan's the only one who can really walk up. He just gets caught, and he has no flash. And Ignar has a pretty useless ultimate right there. Also, Patrick just walks into a bunch of sand soldiers for no reason with flash up. What was that? And what's he doing? He literally sees 3 sand soldiers here, and he walks into them, and then just dies. And he has flash up.
Juhan had no business walking into this top side with Baron up and available.
They didn't want to concede, so they continued and committed, trying to make up for the play of Juhan getting picked there, but Patrick is absolutely one-tapped, and now they're going to lose Baron for 2 people rather than 1.
A massive...
Oh, you walked into 3 sand soldiers.
They keep connecting onto Juhan, they keep connecting onto everyone. It's Niski pulling out the clutch plays on this.
Experiences before, and that is good enough for me. Did Promise Q get a skin?
I'm not sure.
He deserves one, I don't care. I know it was I know it was MSI, they don't give MSI skins away, but that should change as well. Look for SK with Baron as they push in through this inner turret. Now they might have a chance to break the base in another direction. The last Baron buff was...
It's a very weird game, guys.
It should do the job with Niski's
I think Giant X actually played mostly all right. Just some weird pickoffs on Patrick. And, like, I don't understand, you know, they couldn't have done much in that scenario. They had to check the brush. I mean, they can't just give up the Baron for free, right? And it's just SK had the trap set.
Knight's Vow, Locket, Bloodthirster Shield, absolutely everything you could think of to keep Rahel alive.
True.
Can they get through it? That is the question from Giant X. Now they're going to bleed out with super minions up topside. And the next dragon spawning in 2 minutes, that's going to be really painful for that setup.
I mean, Hextech Soul on 4 Hextech Dragons for SK. You know how annoying
both are unbelievably busted.
It's just the chase. I hate the slow so much, you know?
Yeah. I completely get that. I think it's really good on Lucian as well.
Yeah.
But now Giant X are going to be on a timer, right? Because they're going to bleed out minions up topside. That push, they're fighting against that. Can they find the engage before that, or are they just going to concede bot lane inhibit as well?
Do we believe in SK? This new bottom lane making waves. It's getting Dovoni and Rahel. The trade is off. Jackies can't find it. And look at the sustain with Bloodthirster and a fish as your support. It's easy as that. And Niski flies on in. The quickness is there. Ignat tries to buy time himself, but Niski going golden on an equalizer has to flash away. The ulti thrown out from Ismar as well as Jackie still finds a kill. The flank is there from Juhan as well, buying time as Niski goes on in, re-engages but doesn't find the kill. Giant X defends successfully. Juhan, it costs his life, but with only the jungler dead, is that enough to keep SK from death's door?
And Juhan there off the side, I'm not sure if you saw it, but he did such a good amount of work buying time.
Yeah.
He kept drawing the aggro of Rahel and the rest of the team, so they didn't go forward, and then Azir was isolated. Take a look at Juhan on the other side. Watch the aggro juggling from Juhan here, because Rahel has to think about him. Dashes forward, doesn't let it connect, and he keeps doing this over the team, so they didn't go forward, and then Azir was isolated. Take a look at
Let's watch Rahel here.
Watch the aggro juggling from Juhan here, because Rahel has to think about him. Dashes forward, doesn't let it connect, and he keeps doing this over and over again. So the engage from Jackies catches them off guard.
So he's in their head, He's in their head. Oh my god. I mean, I think that's like a high-level play where you're like, oh, but he died in the end. It doesn't matter. As Aragon says, I mean, Juhan keeping them at bay and stopping the play makes it a 1-for-2 trade in the end. Giant X
yeah, but the problem is you're still going to be hitting into this Hextech Soul, so what are you just going to do? Try and flip it now? No, they don't have any, because Juhan dies, they don't have any way to actually clear vision, because he's the one who clears vision. So now we just flip it. They just one man. They can one man this Drake with the super farmed Azir, and then just smites it. Okay.
There you go, Hextech Soul chains through Juhan's damage, and the poke from Rahel was too much. Now onto the Nexus turret. He steps forward with a rapid fire cannon, and for SK it's been so hard done as Igna tries for the miracle flank, but now onto the tank. It means nothing. At least Luon dies though, giving Giant.
There's reset for Baron though.
Jackie's at half HP, threatens the advancement as Niski tries to stand his ground, with SK now looking for another way.
The flank on the side. The Nami is down, so no bonus damage for Rahel.
He has no equalizer. He's in the heat zone. I mean, he's in the danger zone. Juhan is looking for a target over the wall. Patrick is there as well. Relevant doesn't care. The Antonio is running into Isma. He goes golden, which is great. Irrelevant, though. Drags over Patrick. And Cassandra almost does it. But meanwhile, Zignar jumps on in. Relevant doesn't care. The Antonio is...
He hits a three-man Q3 right here, and then gets out and nearly kills Patrick. Ridiculous. Good job by Irrelevant. Relevant's been looking very good again, I think.
Niski is still alive. Rahel is still alive. And SK's chances at 3-0 are still pretty much alive.
And it's just too much.
Oh, well played first week for SK.
They had such a nice fight with the charm dragging Nami over the
It's a bit dodgy versus G2. They almost lost that game after having a big lead, but...
It's too much.
And we've got to start bringing the discussion to light. The new bot lane of SK. How far can it take them? That's 3-0 on the first week of the LEC. SK are playing their damn heart out. And I think I'm just
a little bit of whoopsies in the early game for SK, though. Like, that early invade was a little weird.
The 2v2s down bot side, playing through the lane. Lucian, Nami now piloting these team fights. Phenomenal.
This Korean duo, I mean, they can play Lucian, Nami.
All right, guys, that was the last game of the day. But I'm going to talk about Stream Tech for a little bit. I demand a keen skin. Me too, Avalon Blue. Our program is helpful to learn your position, or is team play completely different? Team play is mostly different, but it can be helpful. All right, this is for you, Shark is Suffering, and your TCG stream. Okay, so if you were doing a TCG stream, like I said, so as I was showing you guys yesterday, it's important to know what you're getting, because the Blackmagic Atem Mini Pro, so this piece of tech that I was showing you guys, that I use for my cooking stream, which is the HDMI switcher. Here, I'll put it on full screen. So this thing, right? This is the Mini Pro ISO, and the ISO part of it means that you can plug in via USB-C a hard drive into it, and it records all 4 feeds simultaneously. The regular Mini Pro doesn't do that. So that's only if you want to record all 4 of the feeds. If you don't care about that, then it can just hook into your PC and go into OBS. This thing also, there's a Mini Pro Extreme, which is 8 HDMI channels, but this has a bunch of transitions built into it. It can stream directly from the device. It has upstream and downstream keys, which means that you can chroma key on it, and you can put in like lower thirds and bugs and stuff like that, graphics over the top. So that's very useful. And you just have to hook it all up via HDMI, right? But there's a variety of different camera options you could have, because like obviously mirrorless cameras or DSLRs are very expensive, and you may not need like autofocus features on everything. So that's why I use the mirrorless cameras for like long range shots in my cooking stream. But for like the one that goes over the... Oh, I gotta find the right box. Oh, here. For the one that goes over the cooking board, there are some other options that are like a lot cheaper if you don't need autofocus. So these this is an HDMI camera. It's from a company called Mokose, which is Mokose. I think this is like 80 or $100. But as you can see, it has a manual focus lens on it. And then it has these little screws to lock it into place. So you can kind of, if you're doing TCGs, you could put this over the table with the cards. And then because you don't need to change the focus on that, you know, this does the same thing as it would over a cutting board, basically. So there's lots of different options, or you can get like a cheaper camcorder that's like made for video. That can be very helpful as well. So that's basically the tech for the cooking stream. But you could use it for board games or for TCGs as well. And it just depends on if you need the wireless Go mics from Rode. If you need that, like audio component. Anyway, that's going to do it for today. We do have Power Spike tonight, guys. We do have Power Spike tonight and Summoning Insight tomorrow. So lots to discuss, obviously. So I will see you guys later.